Welcome, friends, colleagues, strangers, to Invisible Wires.
I'm gonna
go ahead and pop my top before
See
we get...
something, I'll be a thing. What's that name of that song?
Say something.
Say
I think it's just say
something. It's really the feel of that song. It's probably about a couple that just not talking to each other or something.
So
Notice how loud-
Genealogy, something?
Oh, yes. My
Here's
son,
Sean.
he sent me this thing showing where, like, if you go back our maternal side, you come across the last name Burnside, which is before it became Burnside, they were Wallaces. So it's like somehow we're supposedly related to William Wallace, which I was,
Oh, wow.
which I knew I was Scottish. I'm like Scottish Indian. That makes me, about a third alcoholic, I think.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, it really is like has to do with DNA or genetics.
yeah.
My grandfather was like a really bad off alcoholic. He worked at the Malibu in Ironton.
Oh, my papa retired from there.
Yeah. I feel like everyone's pawpaw retired from the Malibu.
Yeah, and then all their kids retired from AK. It was like,
Yeah, and he would stop at it wasn't called the Laid Back. It was like the Pink Elephant or something, some bar called the Pink Elephant or the Pink Lantern or Lampshade or something weird, and blow away their check. And my grandma would try to sometimes people would try to steal it out of his pocket. He was so drunk, and she'd have to go try to get it. And then he would always drive home obliviated, and he never got in trouble. And I think because he knew a lot of the cops, and then also I don't know how he did it, but he pulled in one time and ran into the tree in the front yard. And one time my mom was getting off the school bus, she said, and he was getting out of his truck drunk, and his bib overalls fell down, and it was just down to his underwear. And all the kids were like, "Ah!"
so your dad's junk.
Yeah. So none of my family will drink, because they all have bad experiences about it.
When I'm in town, between the current wife's ex and and just a bunch of my family has demons. When I'm in town, I take it pretty easy. When I go out of town, if you work in a 115-degree power plant all day, sometimes I'll hit a cold one.
Yeah.
But you work at 12, and it takes an hour to drive to and from the hotel, so you're basically looking at a 14-hour day, so you don't have time to get sauced by the time you grab a shower and stuff. It's like you get one or two down, you're good.
Yeah.
It's like, so I overall, I feel like I take it pretty easy. But
I need to take it easy, but I don't. Unfortunately.
I mean, have you ever watched Mad Men?
love that show.
Yeah. Every time I watch it, it makes me want to drink and smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. But it kind of shows how things were back then, and drinking and driving was nothing. It was nothing.
And being over the top sexist was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the alcohol, it's like they drank in the morning. My dad was like that. They drank at 10 a.m. during a meeting.
Right.
You know, that's that was normal
Right.
back
At
then.
work.
Yeah, at work, and they would drink at lunch with a client. You know, and then maybe they'd wait till 5 until they got to work, and they'd go drink again. You know, and it was just part of the deal. You know, like
Let me interject a question here. Are we still checking levels or are we live now?
you just ruined the whole thing. But yeah, you did. I think we're good.
Trying to let the conversation flow, man.
Well,
Uh,
well, last week you gave us a
Yeah, it's okay. We listen.
off.
We can break the third wall.
I heard a story that I guess a Michelin tire company, one of those up in Akron, they ended up buying the whole bar across the street because all the workers were going over there getting sloshed, and
just became the company store. Right?
yeah, and then they just bought it to shut it down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Mm.
supposedly the Michelin star restaurants comes from Michelin tire company in some way.
Huh. Yeah, so I mean, if you look at like how alcohol, like people didn't know what alcohol was. I mean, so they didn't know. I mean, they knew what it was, but they didn't realize what it was doing to them. You know, it was. I mean, my dad didn't quit drinking until he was like 70s, almost 70, and almost killed him. But you know, he didn't know. You know, I mean, it's different in Europe. I think drinking's different. I don't know why. There's different stigma about it. Maybe we.
Because it's more wine over there. I mean, you see that more on the spectrum over
You
there.
drink
than
beer
you do
too
here.
over there. I don't know.
Germany and stuff. I mean,
But as far as like over here you get more distilled liquors, because I mean, especially around here, I mean, everybody's a bourbonista, because they make it all here,
Right. I
just
mean,
wonder if that has something to do with the.
I don't know. Like, I think it'll grab a hold of anybody. I think it's genetic. Like some
Yeah.
people can drink and they're fine.
Yeah.
Some
I
people,
definitely
some
think
people
there's
can't.
something to be said for genetic predisposition.
Like
for that.
I am predispositioned to be an alcoholic. Like for sure. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was. I didn't drink till I was 25. So once it took off, of course I drank like Bacardi Raz or something.
oh god.
Yeah, I loved it. And then I started like in Smirnoff Cherry, and I would freeze it a little bit. So it was almost like a little icy, like Lambrusco, and it just went. But then I was like, I gained a bunch of weight, so I was like, well, I just go to liquor. I won't drink as many calories. Well, that's stupid because then you just drink then you just get drunker. It was bad. So by the time I was, maybe 32, it was I was in trouble. I mean, but I just functioned. I mean, I got a master's degree, and I mean, I did all kinds of stuff. But there was a point where, I don't know, it just kind of it took me. I think I tried to stop drinking when I was about 5 6 years ago, and I just tried to stop for 5 years, and then finally one day, said 2 years ago, around 2 years ago, I said, "Oh, I'm going to stop." I mean, the events leading up to that are crazy, but I just I don't think I can handle this. Like, I don't think this is not working for me. I don't know, but I don't judge anybody who does. I don't care.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean,
A lot of people want that light switch moment. They can't find it. So.
yeah. I mean, I actually looked at a Modelo and I went, "You're not going to control me anymore." It was a 5-pack of Modelo because I already drank one, but I actually looked at it like it was personified it and was like, "You are not going to control me anymore."
Like Cheryl on Archer, you're not my supervisor.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't judge anybody who does. I get addicted to anything. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just me. I mean, that's just how I am. I have
You have
to.
an addictive personality.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do. It comes down to that.
I think it goes with like where you're talented. Like I think that's why you see it in musician circles is because they're able to sink themselves into something so much. It's like
Yeah.
and
That's
and
true.
so it's just like they're addicted to this craft, and it just carries over into other things.
I mean, I was a musician when I was 19, so, but I tell you, when I started drinking and do other substances together while I was playing music, I get it. I get Jimi Hendrix. I get.
Yeah.
I mean, it made me get to another not caring. Like when you're creating something, there's always that this sucks thing that stops you when you're writing something or whatever you're doing, and it stops you from doing it. That helped me. Just be like, I mean, I almost found alpha state in it, like the alpha waves.
Yeah.
Like where you get in that zone. It was weird. I loved it. I would actually write down what I actually ingested or took or smoked or whatever. And if I had a good night, I'd be like, this is exactly
Look
the
back on your formulary.
I would write it. I have notebooks where I would write it down. Oh, this really was a good night. And that's where Sean and I used to play with these other two guys, and we would just jam for hours. I mean, it was but it wasn't fruitful on the fact that we never really did anything with it. Like I see how bands like start out, and everything's great, and then they get all into alcohol and substances, and then they just kind of. I mean, look at all the great bands that drugs killed them. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much of a beat story.
Did you feel like more creative, or like when it came to? Are you talking about alcohol or like weed or?
Yes.
Or both. All the above.
Yes.
Sound like
yes.
a blend.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely, I felt more creative, but I would say this that I was more creative, but nothing really stuck. Like I'm not going to learn anything. You don't learn something new. You know what I mean? You just ideas come. I mean,
Right.
and it also helps with like what kind of proficiency you have on an instrument. I'm not the greatest, but I can make stuff up all day long. That's not a. So it just me making. I would hear things I didn't hear before, and if you're with other people, drums and everything together, it just made it easier just to not judge yourself. That's what it was down. So now that I'm trying to play music again, like clean as I call it, I have to hear that voice and go, oh, that's the voice I don't need to listen to because I'll get frustrated easy. Like I'll sit in here and I got this looper thing and I'll just kind of make ideas and I have to I'll be like, that sucks. I'm just quitting. And then I have to say, no, don't. It's just learning to think again almost. It's strange.
That sounds like the creative process I have in tiling my bathroom. I just put 2 tiles down. I was like, oh, okay. I got to come back to this.
That is kind of the thing, like sticking things out, like when you're working on stuff, is like sticking to something. Like I wish I had a pill. You saw the movie with Bradley Cooper in it that was like, what's that one where he takes a pill and
what is that?
Not Invincible.
Yeah,
he
was hitting on all cylinders.
Inevitable. No.
It like expanded your brain when you took the pill.
Yeah, look at that. You're allowed to use phones in here. I mean, what's that called? Like, what is it about us that can't? I like this. Like, what is it? I write about this a lot. Why can't I just do what I set out to do? Like, why can't I just stick to something and do it?
That's fatigue kills me. It's like, I'm mentally motivated to do something, and it's like, I wrap my head around, I'm going to get into this, and then like 2 hours into it, especially if I eat anything at all, especially something starchy, and it's just like, it's like getting to the point, like if I go into work, it's like I don't take anything with carbs in it. I mean, other than like I'll, over a 12-hour shift, I might eat a little gas station pack of sunflower seeds, and then I'm drinking diet pop the rest of the time.
But you're also aware of that, so that's good.
I'm the opposite, man. Like if I'm hungry, I cannot focus or function. Like I have to eat something, and then immediately after, I'll work my best.
Really?
Yeah, like a huge meal, and then immediately after, I'll be like, okay, I'm on my top of my game.
You must be processing sugar differently, for sure.
I don't know.
I'm not
just upon appearances. I would say
upon appearances.
The movie is Limitless.
Limitless.
I liked it.
It was a great movie. Like it really made me think. It kind of reminded me of Groundhog Day for some reason. I don't know why. Because after I left, I don't know why. Groundhog Day when I saw it in the theater. So I came out thinking it kind of freaked me out because I was like, I don't know. It made me think, am I going to live the same? That's kind of a nightmare to live the same day over. That movie kind of made me think, gosh, maybe I could think like that. Maybe I don't know why I related that, but
Well, it kind of represents every drug in a way of like it always comes to an end, or you build up a tolerance and then you find yourself in a hole worse off than where you were. Like I feel like that's the case for a lot of these antidepressants or something.
there's a price to pay. For every drug you take.
Right.
There is. There's
A sandbag.
yeah. Like I mean, I know for alcohol and other drugs that for me there was they were beneficial for a while. For sure.
Hmm.
I had some great times. I'm not gonna lie. I did some.
Yeah.
I mean, it got me through some hard times for sure. But there's a point where it wasn't, beneficial anymore. So, but I think even antidepressants are like that. I mean, you can only falsely give yourself serotonin, dopamine, and then your body's like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna work.
Melatonin is only going to work for so long.
Oh yeah.
The first few times you take it, you're like, this is great. Like,
Yeah.
can't
Oh,
take it every night.
or you have to go up to like I was up
Yeah.
to 15 milligrams of melatonin
Oh my god.
about swear to
That's
God.
crazy, dude.
Well, I was on trazodone for about a year and a half, and I was like, and it
How
made me
much?
mad.
Like $1.50 or
How much was on there?
just curious.
50, and then I went down to 25.
Oh, okay.
Not very.
So it's
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've taken 150 before.
right.
Were you ever
but
on
that-
Ambien?
Oh yeah, I can tell you stories about Ambien.
What's that? Like everyone's getting canceled because they like Roseanne Barr had a beer and took an Ambien and then says
Oh, yeah.
racist
That's
things
what
on Twitter.
I know somebody that, and I'll leave them nameless just for plausible deniability.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, I've taken Ambien.
Used to drink a few beers every night, and then took Ambien and was feeling a little congested, so they did just a Benadryl, which everybody knows it makes you tired,
That's
but
like
in the
Vistaril.
grand scheme of things
Yeah.
is relatively benign compared to some of the other stuff we're talking about. And it was one of those show up to work in your pajamas stories, and I am not
Really?
kidding here. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. They thought I'm going to use the pronouns not to give away too much information, but coworkers thought they were having a stroke and stuff because they knew they were also on blood pressure meds and stuff like that. And it was like,
Oh my god.
I mean, Ambien for me, I did some stuff that I don't remember. That was not good, for sure. I mean, because I heard Patton Oswalt said about Ambien once. He said, "It's like how he'd say he's like it's like when you go to sleep, you're in a room, and usually like when you dream, it's like one door is open." In the dream world, he said it opens all the doors at once, and I thought that was a good analogy because I mean I don't remember. Of course, drinking with Ambien's a bad idea. I did it a lot. I mean, I did stuff I don't remember, but I had such a hard time sleeping for a long time. I don't know what it was. It was just couldn't sleep for years. I felt like it just. I mean.
Were you like exercising? Or?
Oh, dude, I was exercising like a mother. I was also injured a lot, too. I mean, I worked out. I lifted weights to a point where it was just dumb. I was like, I'm 5'9". I was 250. Just beast it out. I mean, and so I tore my labrum, tore everything up. So, and I don't know. And after I lost my preaching job, I kind of lost the meaning of life. I was like, what am I doing? I mean, I thought that was supposed to be my point in my life. So I kind of had my midlife crisis when I was like, I don't know, 26 or something like that. I mean, that's when I started drinking. So, but Ambien's interesting. I mean, that's probably, it's a dangerous drug is what it is. I mean,
yeah.
And I think I still have some somewhere because I have a fear of not sleeping big time. Like I'm afraid tonight I'm not going to sleep and then I wake up tomorrow and I'm not going to make it to my meeting in Cincinnati. Like it's stupid.
Yeah.
I've done it 3 times in the last 2 years, but
I totally relate to that. Yeah.
That's like, what if I'm late and they think I'm a loser
Right.
and that's a,
Mm-hmm.
do you like, it keeps me up. So, I mean, does it keep you guys up if you have to be somewhere and.
Oh yeah.
At times,
Yeah.
it's like I'll roll into a hotel at 10 at night and the plane is X amount away. So you have to set your alarm for 3, and it's like.
If there's a plane involved, God help me, Jesus.
No,
Yeah.
power plant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like if I have to be for a plane,
Yeah.
oh God, it's
Oh, yeah,
stressful.
Because they tell you 2 hours ahead, and that's like, yeah.
Yeah, like
You're always afraid. Yeah, that is
it's
stressful.
kind of an irrational fear to now I just stay up. Like last night, I watched Norm Macdonald videos until I fell asleep. I watched Norm Macdonald until, of course, I saw him in person once. It was great. It was like he converted to Christianity for a while, and this was during that time, and it was in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is, of course, Mormon land.
What?
And it was really interesting. And there you could only have one liquor drink and one beer. You can only have two drinks in front of you at once. They had a really weird rule there.
Utah
different
has
law.
Weird rules.
Well,
I saw a package of Blue Moon and it said like 160 calories in the rest of America, 150 in Utah. I'm like, what the hell is this? They have very specific, odd alcohol laws in Utah.
Yeah, and the alcohol has to be hidden. Like it can't be in plain view for children to see or something.
That's like,
it was weird. Like
Indiana's like, and this isn't that weird in the grand scheme of things, but like, you can't get, like you go to a gas station and buy beer, it's going to be warm. It's going to be like out on the floor.
Ew.
You have to go to like
no beer cave?
You have to go to a liquor store. They call them package stores there, those guys, to get stuff that's already cold.
So is that a remnant of Prohibition, or is that...
Yeah.
It's probably a remnant of Prohibition.
I think it's the same line of thought that kept, Sunday sales out of this side of the river for a long time.
Right.
I think it goes along to
What a dumb thought.
Really, really old school evangelical way of thinking. That's like only specific to Appalachia, I feel like.
That's
true.
That's the way it
yeah,
feels
yeah.
to me up there.
Yeah.
I like my family is Italian. Like my dad never remembers a time where he didn't have a glass of wine. Like, or his dad would he's 9 years old and his dad would pour him some wine. Or like,
yeah, it's a real Italian thing.
It's not as like frowned upon.
Back off, Mom. It's just some Pinot Gris. Come on now. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you a little closer there.
Not throwing
Is that
one at
Mike?
you. Just
I mean,
yeah.
no,
for me, like my dad drank all my life, so it's like I thought it was evil forever, and then I had it, and it was a girl that got me to have it, but I don't know.
The women turning you on to the sins of the world.
yeah, therein lie the evil.
Yeah.
Well, I remember
She was your
this
Delilah.
is actually a funny story. Right? I'll tell it. Like first time I had vodka, I was at Virginia Beach, and this girl I was with said, "Hey, get some Sky vodka," and I was like, "Okay." I really didn't want to do it, and we drank this vodka, and it was like automatically I was like, gone. She's like, "I want Italian food real bad," and I go, "We can't drive right now." "Oh yeah, we can. I'll get us there." So I was kind of gone. She drove like probably just a couple blocks. We walk in this Italian restaurant, and I remember walking halfway in to the Italian restaurant, and I go, "Oh!" And so I ran out, and there's this window with these two people eating, like Lady and the Tramp. I was like, and they were eating their
I feel
Italian
like a
food.
scene from Jackass is upcoming
and I
here.
barfed right at the window in front of them.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
That's where I thought
just
this
all
was going.
over them. Oh, not over them, but all over in front of the window. And they were just like, "Oh my gosh."
Eating spaghetti and meatballs.
It was just gross. and so the girls with came out, and she's like, "Where are you?" I was like, "I'm throwing up all over the sidewalk." And then we went, but it was just it's just a bad experience. But it's a long time ago. I don't remember, but it's not a good experience. Which is funny. That was my drink of choice.
I went back in and said, "Don't try the calamari."
The seafood.
It's
was boiled.
interesting the pain you go through, and you still do it. Like that's the funny thing about it. But
I never understood how people were drinking every single day, because I just at some point I just get sick of it. Like if I do something it doesn't matter if it's drinking, if it's just doing a hobby. If I did it every day, I would get sick of it. Like I used to play music every day.
right,
And I got sick of it. Like one day I was like, I'm just kind of sick of this.
yeah,
I
you just
don't
weren't
know.
dedicated enough.
I guess so. Yeah.
No, I
But,
think it's like that means you may not have the alcoholic gene.
Yeah, maybe not.
If I did it every day, it was every single day for at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I don't know how long.
I don't have to drink. Like I never have an urge per se.
I would get if I
But if I start, I can't stop. until
That's
I'm
more of a
until I'm
binger.
sleeping.
More of a binger.
Yeah.
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 Like I went to that later after I tried to stop. I went to the binging later because I was trying to capitalize on the opportunity, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do it every day because I got in trouble with the authorities. my wife, but which was good. I'd probably be dead if it wasn't for her. But
Yeah.
I think that's good's good. You don't have to do it every day because that's. But some people do. I mean, some people do drink all day, every day, all day. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what kills you. Like I didn't do that. I went to work. I didn't drink in the morning. You know, I went to work and 5 o'clock came along. And I would get excited.
I know guys that I worked with, like if if we had a chance at finishing a bowl, this was 20 years ago, different set of guys and stuff like that, but were so alcoholic that they would work like mad monkeys because they were trying to get that boiler done. If that was, if you're working at 12,
that's your motivation.
You're getting relieved by another crew, then you're there for 12 hours, and it was different. But if there was a shot at getting that boiler done and they could get out of there and get to their next drink, and I mean, it was, torpedoes be damned. They were some of the best workers you ever saw, but their motivation was to get to that bottle,
That was my motivation every day. Like after every event, after everything, couldn't wait. I was excited. I mean, it's crazy, but I mean, it is a dopamine thing. So it's like, it's natural for it to be a motivator. Like, have you ever seen that study or heard that study that the rats doing the cocaine? The rat cocaine study?
Is this one where they kept going back to it until they would kill themselves, or is that?
Yeah, they kept going back to it. They would choose it over sex. They chose it over food. They choose it over play. They choose it everything. And then so what they had to do is they had to give the rats something to do in the cage to get them to not do the cocaine anymore. They had to have, it's like they needed another motivation. So they had to give them another. It's a very good study on addiction. I mean, there's a thing in the program I'm in. It says, one of the things it says, what do we do now? It's one of the first questions, like, and that's kind of, I had that question. I was like, what do I do now? Like, listen to our podcast. Do I, what do I do?
Yeah, I heard that too with like, with weight loss surgery, like people that would
eat a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
what
like,
do you do now? Yeah.
Yeah. And they would replace it with, some would exercise, but there was a higher prevalence of like alcoholism after
really
weight loss surgery and stuff like that.
Huh. I mean, this isn't me talking against alcohol. This is just my experience. I mean, I have no problem with people who drink. I mean, it's you're only an alcoholic if it really ruins your life. I mean, that's when, if it affects, that's like any mental health diagnosis is, everybody says I'm OCD. Well, you have a job. You function. You don't have OCD if you can function in life. It has to be affecting your relationships, your job, your way to make, it has to be affecting, to really be a mental health disorder, it has to be affecting, everybody wants to be bipolar too. That seems to be a big thing too. But it has to really be affecting your...
Yeah, at the point you lose functionality, then it's...
If you can't support yourself, you can't...
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
That's good that you take that approach, that you're not, I guess, like bitter about it and making it the evil of the world at the same time. I feel like so many people who are alcoholics, like their next obsession is like God and church in a way. And then like everything against alcohol is the evilest thing, if you, not even one sip and this and that. And it's just like, they put all their energy from that they were using on drugs and alcohol into like God, and almost like in a way start to like covet God in like an unhealthy sense or something.
Yeah, I see that a lot. I see that a lot when I go to meetings and such, is that people are like, they call it the pink cloud, and they get in this place where, like, listen, I've been there. I've been a zealous Christian before.
Oh, me too. I've been there too, yeah.
But you're right. I think it's obsessiveness.
Yeah.
And you want to be right, and
right.
you see preachers do that. They'll preach that against the exact sin, quote unquote sin, I'm going to throw that out there, that they're struggling with. They'll it's infidelity, and and then you got Jim Baker, who's like, he's doing the exact same thing he's preaching against. It's because it makes him feel better. I don't know what.
Like, I know a guy that he was, on everything. He quit and then started going to church again, which is great. Nothing against that. I mean, I would encourage that. But then, like, he really started getting into preaching, and then broke up his church that he grew up in with his whole life because only Calvinism was the right thing, and like getting in arguments with 80, 90-year-old church ladies that have been there their whole life, like, no, we don't really want to switch to Calvinism. He's like, well, you're wrong.
He went to Calvinism?
That's like the trendy thing to do now, is all the Baptist churches are getting broken up by Calvinism.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but
that was you guys.
Isn't Calvinism predestination?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so if you end up being rich or whatever, that it's not your fault, or what is, is that?
Well, it's like, I'm meant to go to heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm chosen to go to heaven.
Preordained.
Some people
I mean,
are
it's
chosen
the
to go to
Bible
hell.
talks about being chosen, but I don't think it. Here's my view on Calvinism. I already have it. I have this in the chamber already. Is things are predestined, but
Right.
we live inside of time. God, theoretically, and so the people, what I believe, God lives outside of time. He sees time as a whole. So he is like, this is time. I know people can't see this, but this if this is time, then he's outside of time. He sees the whole thing. So to him, things are predestined. He can see the inner workings of action, reaction, or whatever. He can see all the possibilities. Kind of like what's his name on Marvel, Doctor Strange. He saw all the possibilities, and there was that kind of thing. Not that he's God. Gosh, and I'm saying Doctor Strange is God. This is not good. But what I'm saying is that God's God. Like, that's me. It's like God can see everything. So yeah, it's predestined to him. But to us, we can't know. We are limited by this moment, this time, this space right here. Like, and that's Calvinism for me. Is like, yeah, we're predestined, but you don't know. You're human. You have limited scope of things. You can't
It
tell.
definitely takes away the sense of free will. Like, if you're predetermined to go to hell, like, how is that a just God? And then, I mean, there are instances, I guess, like in the Bible. Probably the biggest verse that they quote is when God hardened the heart of Pharaoh to not let the Jews go.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I don't know if that's what that verse meant specifically, but also, even if he did, harden his heart, like,
He made a decision.
He made the decision.
Right.
He was not. And even if God did make him give that decision, it doesn't say that he went to hell. Maybe God does determine people to do bad things for a greater good. I think that's possible, but it doesn't mean that he's going to have to pay the sacrifice if God did determine him to do something wrong.
Yeah, that's a weak argument.
I don't know. Yeah.
But there is the one scripture, I think it's Ephesians or something. I don't know. It says that he gives people over to a debased mind, meaning like they keep doing bad even though they know it's wrong and they know what it's doing to them, and so eventually, like, their strength of turning good is really, they don't have a lot, and they don't really have a strength to do it. I mean, there's some people that are just gone. I mean, I know drug addicts I know a lot of drug addicts, and they've had chances, and they've lost the will to get better. They just can't. But I'm not saying that they're gone, but I'm just saying,
action-wise, they've thrown in the towel. They've just kind of gone with it.
Yeah, the ability to be able to change your actions it's so ingrained. It's hard. I mean, think about things you do that you're like, gosh, this is so ingrained to me to do this, to think this way. Why do I keep doing this?
Yeah.
And there's a point where you're just like, I guess I just, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying we need to be perfect. I'm just saying I'm definitely not perfect, but I don't know. I think there's a point where the available strength to change is just gone. I don't know. And it's not for me to judge that either, but that's not predestination. That's actually probably a case for choice, really, right? I mean, for free will.
Yeah.
That's kind of the question. Why is God giving us free will? Like, why is it like, dude, just make us do this stuff? Like,
because I think doesn't that take away the idea of love?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Universal sovereignty there too. It's like that's part of that equation.
Yeah.
That's the way I always heard it.
It's like this. If like someone forced me to love my wife, is it really love?
No.
Yeah. That's kind of, if you force someone to love you, I talk about this with my mentor a lot. And he has all these answers and he draws pictures. And I'm about to have him come in here someday, but he has charts and stuff about this. And
Wow.
I mean, he's fascinating. He has all these booklets and they're like this thick, like maybe a half-inch thick or something. And they're like, he binds them with electrical tape. I've got them. I can show them to you. And they are very comprehensive guides on reality. I mean, from the Christian point of view. I mean, but not like a evangelical. Sometimes in Appalachia, it's very unthought out or unintelligent reasoning. You know, this is very like he's looked at all the other religions and I think I said this last time. He calls it spiritual debris, meaning there are truths everywhere. There are truths in the Quran. You and I talked about this last night.
Yeah.
You know, there's truths in Hinduism and Taoism and Taoism and all the isms, and like that's spiritual debris from love is the real thing. That's what you got to find.
Yeah, it's like we came down to, basically, if you got a code to do right by your fellow person, then you're going to feel better for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
I'm not knocking. That sounds like a knock on religion in general, but
No.
it seems like to be an overriding theme through any modern day organization that teaches, that has religious undertones or what have you. That it's all about
Let's be good to each other.
doing right. Yeah, by each
Let's
other.
play well together.
Yeah.
Again, what's the fruit of hate and no love and what's the fruit of it? What's the fruit of being mean to people and being a jerk? And what's the fruit of that in your life? If you're a jerk to people, what happens?
Oh, guilt.
Okay, yes. If you have that inclination, sure. So if you do
'cause-
something bad to somebody else, what happens to you? I mean,
It depends on the situation. Like,
Right.
what do you mean do bad? Like, because
if you
if you're-
something of ill repute to someone else, cut them down, or whether it be verbally or physically. If you have selfish motives, where does selfishness get you? Really? Does it give you a lot of friends? If you're a selfish son of a bitch, it doesn't really go far. I mean, there are people that are rich and selfish,
right.
but they're alone. I mean, they don't have friends. People who are their friends want their money.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people like that. I mean,
Or like, you're into fighters like Moneymaker. It's like he hires an entourage to roll with him because he's so
yeah.
kind of self-absorbed
yeah.
and stuff. That
Oh
selfish.
yeah, Floyd Mayweather is what you're saying. Yeah, he is called Moneymaker, isn't he? I mean, how much does he have to question who's really his friend? I'm not saying he's selfish or I don't know him, but man,
But you're on a retainer to be my buddy.
yeah,
That's a pretty good deal.
yeah, like that's rough. If you think people are just being your friend because of your money, like you want a friendship that's authentic, right? I mean, you want to.
Yeah,
you're going to get something from a friendship, right? Like
Yeah.
whether it be someone to help you through stuff or.
it's like I know you watch Letterkenny, but like the Letterkenny code. Friend needs help, you help them out.
Yeah.
yeah.
Again, we're awful alone in this. I mean, we're awful alone in this world. Period. I mean, I don't know if you guys, but I feel like during this last COVID time or whatever you want to call it, the COVID days, I did feel kind of alone. I was like, gosh,
Yeah, we talked about that the week before out there. There's like a claustrophobic social feel to
there's
not
like,
being able to get out there and
I mean, if you're not, I'm not I kind of hurt. My social life kind of dwindled as I stopped, drinking and stuff. But I was trying to protect myself. Then I was like, man, I'm kind of awful. I have my groups and stuff, that I go to and stuff like that. But
then you're handcuffed out of cultivating good relationships too at the same time, just because of COVID.
Yeah. So it was. I knew I noticed I was online more, and I would talk to people online. I'd engage people online. Like I had a group about my video game, and I'd be like, I would talk on Facebook. Like I would just talk about the game as if it was real or something. I don't know what I was doing. Did you guys find that you did that? Did you talk to online more during the COVID?
I think I actually started a couple groups that during that time. And,
What kind of groups did you start?
oh. No, I mean, it wasn't nothing nefarious or something like that.
I didn't suspect that at all.
But there's a polarity to it that I just,
Oh, okay.
That
You started a
other than,
movement?
like the Boyd County Jedi Council or something like that, Other than that one's pretty universal.
That sounds hilarious. The Boyd County Jedi Council. What are you talking about?
No, we hang out in Central Park and LARP with lightsabers. No, we don't really
That's
do
a
that.
true thing.
Yeah, I know. I've seen them do that. That's like some of those guys are quite the saber smiths too. It's like, but
did you talk about the weight? Well, this is correctly weighted. This saber is.
No, it was just like well, during COVID, and the Mandalorian was hitting.
Yeah, big time. Yeah,
and so they're talking about all this new material that's coming out. Like Lando's storyline, Obi-Wan.
I'm glad they're doing all that.
And so it was kind of like if anybody would hear something that I knew was, because like where I worked before, I was kind of in a department where I went all over the place. So I knew people from all over those two buildings, and it was like you knew who was following that or talking about going to see.
Who liked Star Wars?
Yeah,
and who didn't.
exactly.
Right.
And so so I just out of
You just got it going on.
giggles and stuff, Well,
I mean,
and thus I was
I could talk
married
about The Mandalorian for hours. Did you watch The Mandalorian?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Plus,
I thought it was the best Star
married on
Wars.
Star
It was the
Wars
best.
Day too.
It was the best Star Wars thing ever put out. Period.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It destroyed the original.
yeah.
And Jon Favreau did it.
Killed
that guy
the
is a
game.
genius.
Yeah.
Man. Have you ever seen Chef? His movie.
No,
on
I keep
Netflix?
seeing it and I don't
So
watch it. Is it
good.
really good?
I mean, he even has his own documentary on Netflix about a cooking show called Chef. So he made a movie where he runs a food truck,
right.
and then he goes around with guys like Wolfgang Puck and
Like
just
hardcore guys, like
hardcore
wow.
guys, interviews them, and you learn about cooking and things that he's
Wow.
doing, and I mean how he just reminds you of a common guy's guy. Like he loves cooking, he loves The Mandalorian, he made Elf.
Yeah, he
so he's
did.
a
He
funny-
made the Iron Man movies.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
He made Iron Man 1, 2, and I think he made 3. I don't know if he made 3 or not.
I don't know.
3 was kind of iffy.
I think I only saw one.
I watched all those because I love the continuity of it. That's why I love the continuity of the Marvel movies. I think they did a great job of relating all the movies together, and there's heart to it too. There's heart to those movies. Yeah, they're superhero movies, but there's some kind of heart to it. I don't know what it was. Of course, they kind of made Iron Man a Jesus figure. He sacrifices himself at the end.
Yeah.
They had the ultimate evil.
Wasn't that Batman too? It was like there's critics trying to say it was a representation of George Bush and going into Iraq, the hero that we needed and didn't deserve. I was like, what is all this garbage?
I don't know.
Who writes this stuff?
I mean, you got to write something, I guess. I mean, that's not a. Was that the last Batman, the third one,
The Dark Knight.
the original one?
Yeah. No, that.
I mean, the
no,
Dark Knight series.
Yeah, not Batman Begins, but the second,
The Dark Knight, the
one
second
of
movie,
the
the superhero movie of all superhero movies.
yeah, exactly.
There are. If we're going to talk about Dark Knight, I got to bring this up. I've watched Dark Knight 1 billion times. I just think it's excellent. It's the greatest superhero movie probably ever.
Probably, yeah.
Even though I love Marvel movies, there's some huge problems with that movie. One of them is the guy's voice, but that's been overdone, and we know that the voice that, I'm Batman, that voice, kind of dumb, okay? But whatever. We'll accept that. Let's accept the voice, okay?
Yeah.
He had to hide it. I think in the Ben Affleck one, he had a vocal modulator, yes. But there's some things in that movie that I'm like, what in the world? So you have, what's his name, Falcone, the mobster, right? The guy, the Italian mobster guy. Well, Batman's interrogating him, right? And he's on top of this building. He throws him off the building. And it's not that high of a building. But Falcone he lands on his legs and breaks his legs during the movie. During the scene. 2 scenes later, he's walking with a cane, and that's it. Right? And I'm like, it's crazy. And so then there's the other scene with Two-Face, Harvey Dent or whatever, and he's in the car with I think he's in the car with Falcone. Poor Falcone during this movie. I mean, he's really good. And they're in a car, and all of a sudden, he flips the coin like Two-Face does, and he shoots the driver of the car. And the car flips over and does a huge wreck thing. And then, I don't know what happened to Falcone. Hopefully he got put out of his misery. I don't really know what happened. But Two-Face is fine. I think maybe he has a seatbelt on. I don't know. Like, he's totally fine.
Airbags.
He's totally ready to fight the next. Like, it's such a. They messed
You know
up.
how they did that. Good writing. That's what saved you.
Yeah, and that's what you got to realize in a movie is that they write a huge film like that, and then they put all these scenes together, and like they just got to put it together. They can't go back and do that car scene. Or
So I do like the DC movies better than the Marvel movies. Just
what
because,
is wrong with you?
Because
That's
they are
very
darker.
confrontational.
They are.
You left
I
the
feel
room and you
like-
thought about that, and you came back in.
No, I feel like Marvel is made for, 12-year-old
Are you
kids.
even serious? Okay, what's your point? I got to listen to it.
No, some of it is getting weak, like the Wonder Woman stuff. I think that's made for
It's the worst.
kids,
Those are the
too.
worst superhero movies ever.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot is an angel, though.
Oh,
But
she's
anyway,
a beautiful woman.
And can I just say too, and like I've been to Israel a couple times, and Gal Gadot is beautiful, but in Israel, she's like in Israel 5.
Really?
That's just how beautiful that every single girl.
Is it
over
because
there
they're
is.
so exotic and you just don't see people like
it's
that?
a mix of European, Eastern European, Russian, Ukraine. I mean,
Wow.
like Middle Eastern, and that all the greatest women in the world come together and
Wow.
somehow reproduce over time and create like a normal woman walking around looks like Gal Gadot.
Really?
I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and like they're all in, aren't they all in the military over there
Yeah,
too? Look, so
yeah.
like all the guys are like buff
yeah.
out.
That's how she
you know.
got the role. Was she had the experience in the IDF. So
So, we're not going to let you pass this.
Yeah.
What?
wait, who makes DC? I don't. This is how much I don't know anything about it on both
Bunch
of
of
these really.
bunch of dudes in an alley. I don't know. A bunch of dudes in
And what movies are they?
Batman,
Oh,
Superman,
Batman, Superman,
Justice League,
Justice League.
Aquaman. Good God, worst movie ever.
Yeah,
And
now
then-
that was. I'll give you that. That was
It's.
horrible.
I'll give. Listen, it's hard.
Is that Jason Momoa?
Yeah, I mean, he's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
I guess I'm sticking with just like the Dark Knight line,
Well,
as far as the
yeah.
darkness and stuff like that.
Okay.
But for me,
You
I'm
like
just saying
that
the
better.
Marvel stuff doesn't get it either. But I'll grant you the
Pure. I mean, okay.
on the
You're
Aquaman and Wonder Woman that was weak sauce.
That was for kids.
Yeah, I don't like it. And if they're going to take a comic book character and go through the trouble of putting it in theaters and they make it a little darker, they go out on a limb like that. Then,
How do you
then I
make
appreciate
Aquaman
that.
dark though? Like, is he doing stuff to the dolphins? Like, what's,
I know, especially, because he's
that's a hard to do. It's hard to do something underwater.
I like DC guys because they're union too, So it's like, and
They're
Aquaman's an environmentalist, so I cut him some slack.
Yeah.
So the ocean guy.
Love the ladies.
I mean, I love Batman more than probably any superhero for sure. Batman. I used to look when I was a kid. I loved Superman a lot. I would actually put a little curl in my hair and have a cape and the whole deal.
I want the Wonder Twins to get a movie.
The Wonder Twins.
Not really. I'm just
No.
saying stuff.
Who are the Wonder Twins?
You don't-
Like Robin and
I am too old.
Robin and who?
I only got you by a few years. It was Jan and
Steve.
but you never heard yeah pretty much. But it's like you never heard anybody say Wonder Twin powers activate.
I've
And
heard
one,
that. Yeah.
Then one would say it was a form of water, and the other one would be some sort of animal.
You're not talking about Captain Planet?
No, yeah. I mean, this was like this is a throwback to the old
Right.
Super Friends cartoon that's back in the way back.
You are a little bit older than me though.
I feel like a lot older than you at the moment.
I know. But
I'm gonna use
I
a
get what
cane
you're
to get out
saying
of here.
about the Batman movies. Okay. Even though the third Batman Dark Knight movie was
Well, even the one that talked like that, that was, and then that standalone, and then the Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger really killed it, and then Bane kind of got weird.
I love the Superman TV show.
Like back in the old one.
The old one.
Yeah,
The
that was
guy-
cool.
What's the guy's name? He fell off a horse and.
Oh, that wasn't the TV
Christopher
show.
Reeve?
That was the
Christopher
movies.
Reeve.
That was
Oh.
the movies.
I thought he had a TV show.
No, he had the 4 movies. 4 movies.
What?
I think it was 4.
Yeah.
I could swear there was.
No,
Maybe
he
I
had
just
3,
used
4
to watch
movies.
them on TV.
You
and I
are
thought-
younger.
The one
I
had-
watch these myself. I love those Superman movies.
And Gene Hackman was
Gene
Lex.
Hackman was Lex Luthor. Oh my gosh!
And
it was so
Richard
good.
Pryor was in it. Remember?
Richard Pryor was in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were crazy movies. There was another guy who had the show though back in the 50s, 60s. I don't know when it was.
Oh yeah.
I don't know his name. I have to look his name up, but I don't remember.
I love the Batmans with Michael Keaton. I don't care what anybody says.
I loved it too.
I mean,
Yeah.
everyone always talks trash about him, but I grew up on those.
Yeah, I love that movie. I saw it in the theater. I mean, it's good. It was good for then. I mean, for then
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
It wasn't cheap. I mean, Jack Nicholson. Is that who it was? Yes.
Yeah. Jim Carrey and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and
I don't know. That one kind of went downhill, but
I don't know. I liked them all.
childhood
memories.
You think how old you were is probably why.
Yeah, I was so young, I guess.
So
I mean, I
something
liked it
where they
too,
were-
but I mean, with George Clooney kind of.
yeah, they say that he's
And then
like.
Val Kilmer was Batman too.
Yeah, Val Kilmer too.
I don't even remember that
I think
one.
Clooney's going down now as the second worst one ever.
It was the worst one.
I can't remember, but I just remember Clooney being the,
Yeah,
You had
the
Adam
local
West,
guy to us. It was like
Adam West, Michael Keaton. Then it was Val Kilmer, maybe. Then George Clooney. Then Christian Bale.
they need to make a hybrid movie, like where Batman is Jim Morrison resurrected.
That would be the Batman's door.
have one where all the Batmans get together for a final movie. It's like multiple Batmans.
Oh, the Batman verse, the Batverse. Or something.
Yeah.
And
I did
he
like
flew
the
back in the cave.
So, but you're not saying the Justice League just to make is better than the Marvel universe. Movies.
No, especially once but that line, like the Dark Knight thing, and thanks for getting clarification from me, because once I started turning
I'm
gears
glad
and
you
looking
came
at
to
the
your senses finally.
Aquaman and stuff, but I'm just saying that, like the Magneto and all that stuff. It's like,
Well, then you got.
I mean, these are dartboard characters. I am sorry that Marvel comes up with.
You mean like they're not major characters, or they're not good? What do you mean by dartboard?
They just
Dartboard.
write something on a
okay.
dartboard and a bunch of ideas, and like
Yeah,
this
They-
one's going to have super cufflinks.
Yeah,
and they
that
throw a
is
dart
true.
at it. Yeah.
I would say definitely that the
It's Sean, ladies
Hey.
and gentlemen.
Sean is in the building. The creaky. I think that one's on,
You want this?
Sean.
You can sit in this one if you want.
Let's see, make
Hey,
sure
buddy.
that's good. We're talking about Marvel movies right now. Give that a testaroo over there. God help me.
Caress it a little bit.
How's it sound, bro?
Is it on?
I don't know.
Is it
Keep talking, everybody. Just keep talking.
the rain in Spain falls mainly-
rain. Chocolate rain. Oh my God.
Oh, you're the one. Oh, sorry, going back to Bane there.
It's direct.
Right there, yeah. Don't do it, Jason. Jason was like this. Like it was off to
Yeah,
the side.
I'm like holding it, DJ.
Okay, keep going. Talk.
All of us.
It's kind of like when
Okay,
you
cool.
walk in a room and then everybody stops talking and you know they were talking about you.
Yeah.
That's how I feel right now.
We talked about Batman, Calvinism.
I'm saying Sean would make a better
Weed.
Marvel character than the Marvel universe
Sean's
right
Marvel
now.
character be?
Oh man,
Or what would?
Well, have you already decided? What
No,
you
we
all
haven't.
do? Well, let's not start.
I don't know. I envy Sean because I can't wear a tracksuit. I'm just saying
The Ayatollah of Puma.
because I am built like a sack full of farts, to borrow a phrase from Brian Posen.
I mean, you could wear a tracksuit. I mean, you could wear one. It's not-
I'd call them pajamas because I wouldn't allow anyone else to see them.
Keep going, Sean. Talk a little bit here.
Chris, have you actually figured this Rubik's Cube out yet?
When I bought it,
Yeah,
I bought it in New York. I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
it does.
I bought it at some kind of weird fair in New York, and it was already figured out when I got it. That's why I picked it.
You just tell people
I
you
just
figured
walked
it out.
around. I just walked
Look
around
at
with
this.
it.
Did it in record time.
Just walked around
I
with it.
sat on a plane with a guy one time, and he was like an actual Rubik's Cube genius or whatever. He sat there, and he's like, "Here, mix it up." I timed it, and it was like 15 seconds or something.
I got this kid.
Had a formula behind it.
Yeah. And once you figure that out, I mean, that's what I've always understood it to be as well.
It's like, once they get down to so many moves or get to a certain point, they don't even have to look anymore. It's just, it's automatic. And it's like,
I have this little girl in my class, and her mom works at McDonald's, and I guess at McDonald's they have this Rubik's Cube that they're giving out as toys, but it's kind of like a, I don't know, hexagonal type of thing. I don't know. It's a weird. It's not just a cube. It's another shape. But dude, she just goes. I'm like, let me see that. I'm like, darn. Like, how are you doing this? She's like, I don't know. It just. And so I'll mix it up for her. And she's on it. So all the kids are trying to figure it out like her.
See,
it's real impressive though.
I remember when that came out. I'm probably older than you guys on this one too, but like the. You remember that one thing? It looked like a snake, but you could fold it up into like a pyramid or stuff like that. To me, that was like the same timeline of like those gizmo games like that. Seems to me like I was a second grader at the time. So I was still.
I can imagine.
I was still wanting my parents to buy me cashews at Hills.
Yeah. Didn't they have free popcorn too or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something popcorn. And then they had the slush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And they kept the mice out of their popcorn. I'm like,
Okay.
okay, well, I wasn't going to plug them.
Okay.
But, we can get that out of there.
Sponsored by Tractor Supply. This podcast.
All the bad parking lot driving you can stand at Rural King, man. Just
Roll game. Get sued for slander. Podcast gets shut down.
Show.
let's see. See something
Okay.
now, Sean. See
that
if you're
good?
hot. Yeah, there you go. I see it breaking line.
Nice. Noise.
Make some. Sing us a song.
You know any Helen Reddy?
I did. I was just singing that earlier in the shower.
Yeah.
Something
Oh
like
man, you
it's
need
raining
more
in
help than I
Spain.
thought. Yeah. What's the
Is
what's
that
the
is that the band?
there's a movie
Journey?
out
Yeah.
That's
now
awesome.
that
Did you see him with the
so the United States
Filipino
versus
lead or with Steve
the old that was an old singer
guy?
back in the day.
Steve. What's the guy from Journey's name?
Perry.
Steve Perry. Yeah.
Thank you.
Steve Perry.
No, I didn't see Journey. I just
See-
saw this shirt and I thought it was cool, and I like Journey, so I bought it. That's
Steve
Name
Perry
one
is
song by Journey except
Open Arms.
Yeah.
Besides that one.
Believing.
yes.
Oh wow.
Thank you.
listen. It's
Name one.
Separate ways.
That was my school song, and I graduated in 2010. Like, where did I go to school? Like,
What year?
yeah.
But you told me where you went, and that and that seems to be on par with.
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
understand.
pretty much. Yeah.
So Chris,
No, it's
one Journey song, please.
accurate.
One Journey song except the two main ones that's always on the radio.
Good for you. Okay. Listen, you're making it a nightmare. Don't Stop Believing. I don't know. This album, I forget what it was called. I've listened to it profusely.
Do you remember?
What do you recall of it?
I liked it. Made me feel good.
Remember Steve Perry's brother had a band. They cut one album, and I will give you a crisp $10 bill if you can name it without looking at
The
it.
band,
Of
that
his,
Steve Perry
his
had?
brother's band. His brother.
Joe
Now,
Perry.
is this a band that?
It's Aerosmith.
No,
Perry?
no. All right, you guys are going. I'm thinking. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. We'll have to look it up to verify. But I'm thinking their name was Jafria, something like that.
How in the world would I know that? I don't even know a Journey song on top of my head. I do
Oh,
like this
that's-
album. I forget what that album is called, but
But he don't know any of the names of the songs on it. Though. That's
Listen,
what
I'm
he's
not-
trying to tell us.
I'm not. I just like the song. You know,
Yeah.
I like the songs.
Song or songs?
This is plural. There's many of them.
His final record, just one big track.
I like all the songs. It's just funny because usually I know everybody in a band, but
Yeah.
I just saw this shirt and on the internet and I was like, I like Journey, and I just bought
You know,
it.
you could have got that like Hot Topics.
No, you can't get this shirt at Atomics. Actually, I found it at a military supply. Like those PatriotX, .com is where I got it. Actually, I got this off Amazon because they ran out of it at Patriot. They had this and they had a Wild
So
Stallions.
you've been looking for that for a while, then? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
This is
Patriots love Journey. Everyone knows that.
This is a well thought out. This is a well thought out purchase. It was either this or the Wild Stallions from
I love
Bill and
from
Ted.
Bill and Ted. Did you guys watch that movie? The second one or third one?
Yeah, it's up there with Aquaman.
Yeah.
It's just like-
So
You know what? I liked it.
how was that rating? I haven't seen Aquaman.
Don't bother.
Okay, gotcha.
Which one did I like more, Aquaman
Or the Bill and Ted sequel. I would take Aquaman.
So what was?
No, I would take the Bill and Ted
was it
sequel.
because your expectations were too high? Because we got to admit, these guys are like in their 50s now, right? So, what were you really expecting from it?
A little better writing, I would think. I guess wouldn't be too much to ask.
So the storyline wasn't there; it just didn't fit with the rest of the prior movies, or
It just seemed like you saw everything coming.
okay,
It was like
Very
they're
predictable.
going to hook up Hendrix and Beethoven together, or Mozart, or whoever it was. I can't remember which
Now,
one.
it's been a while since I've seen the first two, but wasn't that kind of the same idea? It was pretty predictable.
They had good music, like in the first two, especially the second one because they had that "God gave rock and roll to you," that song,
Who was that by?
Kiss, and which is the only Kiss song I like because I think Kiss is the worst band ever. I will say it on mic: Kiss sucks.
Oh,
I just hate them.
Yeah,
I just don't like them.
right.
They make me mad.
Right, there's something.
wow.
They don't have to be. They don't have to be good. That's the thing, is because you went to see it, which is exactly what they were trying to do. It's
They
a
got
business.
you.
I toured the Paramount Studios in LA one time, and the guy was like, "Yeah, this is where we make what's the they made with Shia LaBeouf was in it, the Transformers, yeah." Transformers. He's like, "Yeah, we just signed contracts to do 5 more Transformer movies." It was like, "We don't want to do them, but you guys keep buying them." So, like, it's like it kind of points out to like it's our fault, like that we're. I mean, they don't have to make them good because they're going to make millions of dollars anyway.
Yeah, that's another franchise that's made for 12-year-olds. I'm sorry.
I never saw
Yeah,
them.
But it's
anything Michael Bay touches.
But it's
all
a
just
movie
special
about.
effects.
I'll tell you one good Michael Bay movie. Can you name the good one?
It's probably a video on MTV from years and years ago.
Titanic.
Because isn't that where he started? Yeah.
Your heart will go
I
on.
wish people could hear what my face looked like right then.
Yeah, speaking of, that's like Titanic and Dirty Dancing. That's like two movies that are just so wrong. It's like
He did some good ones.
The Island. Remember that movie?
Leonardo. Is that it?
No, it's Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor. It's got Scarlett Johansson in it too.
Oh, that's like where they make clones of them as insurance
Just ruined
policies
the whole
for.
damn movie. But yeah, you ruin it for anybody who's gonna see it.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that movie, sorry. It's a great movie. I liked it. But that's really the only Michael Bay. He just made one with Ryan Reynolds on Netflix, and it was called Super 8 or not. That's another movie.
No, that was Super 8 was
The great movie.
Spielberg.
That was a great movie. It was like E.T. almost.
I
Kinda
didn't
remind me.
like it.
I liked it.
It was like predictable, and then at the end, the aliens show up. I was like, "What's going on here?"
I liked it.
You know what the most disappointing movie I've ever seen in my life? I mean, ever. And I think it will be. I think it will stay up there forever.
Okay. Okay.
Let's have it.
It was a Stephen King movie. I think it's called The Fog. Wait a minute. Is it?
Is it the invisible stuff in the air that kills people? The plants?
It's this.
No, that's another movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is. It's so bad.
That's
that
The
it's
Happening.
The Happening.
Okay,
With
so
Mark Wahlberg.
everybody, it's like this apocalyptic type of scene. Everyone's stuck in this like grocery store, and there's just this fog. Like you can't see anything. But every time somebody leaves the store to find help, they don't come back. There's something out there that is killing. I mean,
Picking
it's the
them off.
monsters. Well, The Mist, maybe. Anyway.
Yeah, there's one called The
Yeah,
Mist.
there is. Yeah.
Okay, so
There's one called The Fog too.
So it's one of those.
There's
Something
all
with
you know. My favorite one, the light drizzle.
water
That's it.
molecules. Okay.
The water molecules.
The light drizzle.
That's your spoof title right there.
So it's just pretty intense. Like I'm not really.
So they're stuck in a
into this
grocery
type of movies.
They're stuck in a
anyway.
grocery store.
So yes, and they decide one of the plans was okay. They get this like 300-foot rope somehow because it's like a hardware type of store / like groceries or whatever. It's kind of your perfect store at Apocalypse.
It's the perfect store to be in if this happens.
Yes, if this happens. So anyway,
A Costco.
So one brave guy goes. He's like, "I'll go out there," and they strap him in, and he starts going. He's walking, and you see the rope, and all of a sudden the rope's like, shh, and it's just spinning, and you're like, what's going on? Well, then it just stops. All of a sudden, they're kind of cranky. They try to wheel him back like it's like a water hose type of, or whatever type of hose.
Oh, I got what you're saying.
Whatever. Anyway, they bring him in, and it's a half a body, right? So you're like, what in the world is going on?
So there's fog outside.
Yes, the mist or the
okay,
fog,
so they couldn't
water
see.
molecules. So,
Droplets.
So,
droplets.
so
Oh god.
Precipitation.
I think it's like Dennis Quaid is in this movie, I believe.
That always makes it.
It's him and his kid, and like 2 others that are willing to go find a truck, find some, whatever they need to get more help or to see what's going on out there. So this is towards the end of the movie, and they're driving. It's all misty. And they stop, and I guess Dennis Quaid's character gets pretty, just out there, and he's just like, listen, there's no hope for us. We should all just kill ourselves. So this is what we're going to do.
How long were they in there?
In the truck? Like, in the store?
Yeah.
It was like a day, man.
They gave up after a day.
We're in a store with all this food. What are we gonna do? Let's kill ourselves.
Well,
Like, this is-
listen, that's kind of hazy, right? But
no, it's called The Mist.
yeah,
Not
true.
not hazy.
Yeah, it's kind of
Haze.
misty out there. So he gets his gun. It's got 6 bullets in it, but there's 5. He's got like 5 bullets, and there's 6 people. So somebody's going to survive.
It's a dark
And
movie.
he's got his son. Like, I guess some woman, I don't know. He wants to date maybe after all this is over with. He's got an older man. Anyway, they all decide, and he's not going to kill. He's going to kill them so they don't have to do it themselves. So one by one, he takes each one's life. At the very end, he's got 1 bullet left. It's either him or his son. His son's like 12, and shoots him, kills him. At that very moment, the skies part. You see army trucks coming down the road to save the day. And then what it was a portal opened up that the military somehow was able to open up some sort of third, fourth, I don't know, some sort of dimension that invited or created these monsters from another world to come.
Did you
These
see
alien things. Yeah, and you saw them, and then you saw these huge monster-looking things being destroyed by, obviously, military. So, and then credits.
That's the worst movie I've ever
Worst
heard.
movie. Like me telling it, I'm sad.
No, you know what? You did a justice for the people of America and any country that hears this ever. That they don't have to waste their time on that movie.
Listen.
Because I was almost mad at you for telling me. It's like, oh, that's almost good. And then
I kind of want to see it now, though.
I'm telling you, you're going to be like, what? You just killed your own son for the sake of thinking you're doing what's good. Maybe that's the point. If he would have waited, literally, it was seconds. Literally.
it's called, what's that called? A comedy? No, I mean, classically.
Yeah,
Dark.
a classic.
Classically, that's called a comedy, right?
I gotta find it. I gotta get the title.
Okay. I want you to treat that mic as if you're the singer of Journey. That's why I need you to treat that mic like.
I mean, I don't want to. I mean, it's picking me up, right? Yeah, it's hitting me.
You're not Sean anymore.
Oh,
You're Jason right now.
okay.
So you can see how
Gotcha.
you're coming now. You're good. Okay, so
I gotta find this.
that movie
I
is
gotta see.
awful.
It's gotta.
But
be.
I'll say the worst movie I've ever seen is Big Top Pee Wee. It's probably the worst movie of all time.
No, dude, that was my jam back in the day.
Not Pee Wee.
No, I know.
There was two. There was two Pee Wee.
Oh, Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Was
See
what I'm
that,
thinking
Mike?
of.
That's your.
I don't
your-
hear the microphone. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, because Lars Marge made that. Yeah,
What's that one?
that
Pee
was
Wee's
the,
Big Adventure.
Yeah.
She made the movie.
But the
for me.
second one was Big Top Pee Wee.
Yes,
And-
I remember that.
And I can't even recall any of that movie.
It is so bad. I thought it was bad as a kid. Like when you think a movie's bad as a kid, there's something wrong.
Yeah,
Maybe I
'cause-
will watch it again. It'll be like the best. I doubt it. But Pee Wee went to the circus for some reason. I don't know.
Mm.
Anyway, it's a bad movie.
I think the worst one for me is I think it's called The Box.
Oh yeah,
And it had
yeah.
like it's based off of the Twilight Zone skit, and it's just a box shows up at the door and like starts terrorizing them.
I remember that
Like
one.
that's the plot.
I remember that one. I remember that one.
That's a dartboard plot there too.
Isn't there like in the box? There's like a decision you have to make, and if you make the wrong decision, you
Yeah.
die or something like that.
Yeah, and like one of the actors is one of those like 1990s like football jock star guys. I forget his name, but he plays the football jock in every
Yeah.
movie, and you're like, this doesn't really fit either.
I remember that movie. What's yours, Gary? Your worst movie?
Yeah, we
Yes,
we should do like a
It's
Mount
called The
Rushmore.
Mist, 2007.
Okay.
My worst movie is
You didn't make this movie, did
for
you?
reasons that are.
These are horror movies, are they?
I cannot stand the Titanic
Oh man.
because it just missed the mark of what was going on historically at the time. They turned 1,600 people dying into this turned it into a love story. And to me, I don't know. I just
Yeah, but I got
and
to
it
see
was so
boobs,
over.
man.
It was
good.
drawn in charcoal or something. Too.
They're
But to me, it was I don't know.
supposedly
It
James Cameron drew that picture. The picture of Kate Winslet with no
Yeah.
top on.
Oh, that was James Cameron, not Michael Bay.
I know, that's why I laughed
Yeah,
earlier
why-
about
yeah.
it.
then he went to the bottom.
What if
of the
Michael Bay
ocean.
made the Titanic? That would have been great.
Yeah. Been better.
That would have been awesome.
In a world where
In a world where people die on a boat.
Better explosions for sure.
like the Titanic sinks and then everyone gets eaten by an octopus,
Yeah.
like a giant.
There's a
octopus.
Transformer octopus or something that happens.
Optimus Prime comes in and says,
Optimus. Almost, I don't know.
mechanical octopus.
Octopus.
Optimus Prime.
Octopus. That works.
Optimopus.
Octopus. So you think the Titanic's the worst movie of all time?
Man.
So then it could be Megalodonatron.
Oh, that was good.
Would
Oh,
be
yeah, that was good.
yeah.
Megalodon Electron. That hurt my brain. So, I mean, the Titanic is. I mean, I get it. Why it was good. I mean,
Why?
And I get
What was
other
good
people
what
liked
was
it.
good
To
for
me,
you?
it
'Cause
was
you
like
probably-
it was
I like it. It's okay.
overdone and stuff.
It was long.
The jig scene was awesome. You know, where they're jamming downstairs with the boat
I
sinking.
am-
and they're still
Oh, yeah.
rocking.
I am
That
a
was cool.
The
Leaner-
Gentleman, it's been an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like one of the most touching moments. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. No,
Leonardo DiCaprio is a badass actor. There's just straight up. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, word.
I mean, Inception, Shutter Island. I mean, that's just
Gilbert Grape,
Gilbert Grape.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
name
to
them.
think of, you know, how he's kept his sanity. As far as we know. I mean, of course, we don't know him, but man, you don't ever hear any drama from him.
Yeah, it's true.
Nothing. Like,
No.
it's incredible to be, since he's been in the business for so long as a kid to, I remember him being on a show called Growing Pains.
Yeah.
You know, that was with
yeah.
that Kirk Cameron. That's where, that
Yeah,
was one of
he
his
was on it.
first,
Yeah.
you know. But anyway,
He's legit.
Kirk Cameron?
You think? Yeah.
No question. That's what I was thinking.
Kirk
So,
Cameron.
I'm saying
Leonardo
catch me if you
DiCaprio who?
can.
Kirk Cameron. Kirk Cameron.
Anyway, yes. Leonardo DiCaprio seems to have a lot of things going on for him.
He does. Yeah. I mean,
And he's like environmentally like conscious, like he drives a Prius, you know, like he could have it, whatever.
all those Hollywood people are like that, though.
No, he was before, like he's been like this, like before it was like a thing.
I know, but he's
before it
been in
was trendy.
Hollywood for 25 years or whatever. I don't know how long he's been there.
Right, but I can't name. Well, I'm sure if we searched it, possibly, but he
I mean, yeah.
he drives around in a Prius, being a, you know, A-list movie
I
star.
mean, he evidently
that's-
has his priority. I'm sure he has a couple something else, a Ferrari or something. I mean,
of course, or whatever. I'm not saying because he's environmentally friendly. I'm just saying he's driving a Prius. You know,
I mean,
that in itself-
he's just a practical guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly. That's what it seems to be.
yeah. I mean, we don't get to see his everyday life. We just see like on what's with the magazines and stuff. We don't really know what he does. I mean,
But at the same time, he's been in the game for so long, something would have came out by now.
yeah. I mean, he's a darling of Hollywood.
Look at Johnny Depp, man. I mean,
Well, he married that crazy girl, and that didn't help him. I mean,
Well,
Johnny Depp
he
went
just
and rock
like-
and roll. He
what
like
is it?
started a rock and roll band.
yeah.
And what's it called? The doll,
This-
Hollywood Dolls.
Weren't they playing when Joaquin Phoenix died outside?
I don't know. I didn't know that.
I was thinking that because him and some buddies bought that club or something like
You
that.
mean
So they were.
Phoenix?
Yeah, Joaquin's still
Yeah, I'm
alive.
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you.
What?
Yeah. No.
Joaquin Phoenix. No.
No Joker sequel.
So-
That movie was really good.
That's a Stephen King plot there. No, but yeah, River Phoenix, like I thought they were like the house band at this
Hollywood
club,
Dolls, the Hollywood Undead, something like that. What are they called? Hollywood.
or the Dead Sea or something.
And there's other actors in that band too. It's just he's not the only actor.
Isn't Alice
is he?
Cooper in one of his bands too? In one of Johnny Depp's bands?
I'm not sure.
They're real rock and roll. It's like you have to own at least 7 scarves or have 7 scarves on you at once if you play in the band. There's rules.
Another great
very
artist
nice.
would be Jared Leto, man. 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh yeah.
Great band.
If people
dude.
talk bad about 30 Seconds to Mars, I get mad because I like them.
Dude,
Speaking
when I see, well, I mean, there's shows from on YouTube or whatever. It's amazing. Just-
I love them.
Great show,
I saw
man.
them in concert once. I saw them with. He had his guitar was a Pegasus, like the guitar was a Pegasus. It looked like a horse. That's what a Pegasus is.
Winged
with
horse.
wings. You know, and for those who don't know,
Thank you for clearing that up.
and they were just unreal looking. I mean, it was.
Johnny
and they
Depp
opened
flew
up.
in on it.
Yeah, he flew in on it.
the
He flew
guitar
in on it.
and started playing.
Yeah, and it was a weird guitar. I mean, and they opened up for Thursday. I think it was Thursday they opened up for, and The Used was there too. I think it was a good show, but
And they opened up.
they opened up for them.
I would
yeah.
want to follow them.
No,
what
no.
they could, what
Well,
wrestling
Thursday and The Used were pretty big back then, so
Oh.
it was Thursday started, which is actually there's a little poster behind you right there. Started all that emo. I mean, it started kind of the emo screamo type thing. I mean, The Used really took it really far. I mean, The Used was on MTV and everything. Thursday never got there, and of course, 36 Mars is still going to this day. It's him and his brothers who it is.
Yeah.
But he's an amazing actor. He's up there with DiCaprio for me. I mean, he
I don't
plays
know
more.
about that, man.
I mean, well, okay, I take it back. He's a character. He's more of a. What do you call it? A character actor? What do you call it? When you changed what you look like, what's that called?
Method actor.
No, method actor is when you stay in character the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Like what's his name with 3 names? He's in There Will Be Blood. There Will Be Blood.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel. Well, that's probably the best actor in the world, right there.
He's a method actor. Yeah.
Yeah. He's Daniel Day-Lewis is.
So is Robert Pattinson, actually, from Twilight.
Really?
He gets a bad rap from
No, he's
being in
good.
Twilight, but
He's good.
He's been some amazing stuff. Like, there's one called The Lighthouse.
I've
and
heard
it's
of that
all,
one.
It's all filmed entirely on, like, 1930s
Black and white.
black and white.
With
cameras.
Defoe.
Yeah, with
yeah.
William Defoe.
Mhm,
And
yeah.
Defoe almost walked off of the set because he said, like, he couldn't deal with his method acting. He was just, like,
I wonder if he did that during Twilight.
Chad
Oh, yeah.
Boswick is the same way.
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah. Not Boswick. Yeah, Boseman, the guy who played
Yeah.
Black Panther, that movie.
Yeah.
Whatever, all that. He was when he did the part for James Brown called "Get On Up," which is a great movie if you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that.
That's it.
He stayed in character the whole time. Like he would go to dinner, he would go, work out. He would be like,
Oh.
"Hey, he would just be in that voice, that character, and you can see it translate over into the movie that you forget it's an actor playing.
Man, I got to
Brown.
see that. That's a hard character to play
It's
too.
a great movie, man. He kills it. His last 4 or 5 movies, going through cancer especially,
I know.
is amazing.
I know.
I mean, yeah.
He was on the
It's a
edge of
great
something.
movie.
That guy. Got to give him some credit, man. He really did a good job.
It gave him some time, man. He would have been one of the best as well. I mean, just as much as he cared about.
What kind of cancer did he have?
What is it?
What kind of cancer did he have? I wonder.
Something to do with his, I think his stomach or something.
Mm.
I don't know. Something like that. But regardless,
That's wild.
It's a man's world.
It's a man.
He did that CNN interview. Have you ever seen that? James Brown did You're talking about James Brown.
Yes.
He went on CNN and just he was coked out or something. Just it's a man's world, like just going in like, James, are you okay? I'm living it up.
That's
James
like-
Brown was crazy.
Some of the best Saturday Night Live material ever was Eddie Murphy doing the James Brown as Annie and stuff like that. Y'all ever see that stuff? Check that out.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen a lot of old Saturday Night Live like that. Saturday Night Live kind of had its heyday, I feel like, for me, during Chris Farley, Adam Sandler.
Today, it's still, I still watch it, at least the news bit with Colin Jost and Michael Che. Especially when they do joke swap, man. I laugh out loud. I mean, it is just like the one you see. Oh, sorry about hitting the boom there, Chris. But did you see the one at Christmas where they did that? And Michael Che just set him up. One would read one joke, the other one wrote, and they didn't know it was coming. So it's like coming down the pipe.
That's a little more authentic, kind of.
And Michael Che's writing stuff when Colin Jost reads it makes him look like the biggest racist ever was. He's like, he's looking at the camera like, I'm going to get stabbed on the subway. You understand?
Yeah, I guess I can't judge that show. They do it every week.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's current.
yeah.
I mean, to keep up with the current times.
They say it's rough there, like
skits and
they say it's rough. Everybody gets right skit, and if what's his name, Lorne Michaels likes you better, you get your skits in, and because they have a surplus of skits, so it's really hard to get your stuff on there.
Well, I was talking about Hannibal Buress, I think, week before last, and he was a writer on there, and very seldom did his stuff get on there, and it was always high pressure, from what I understand. Like back in the days when it was Farley and Sandler and
he was back then too.
Spade.
He was back then too. Hannibal was.
No. I'm just saying, but they were talking about the pressure to come up with material week in, week out.
Yeah. And Adam Sandler would come with the craziest stuff, and just it would get on there like crazy. I mean,
it was like Andy Samberg, like he'd come up with that.
Yeah.
He said when he first pitched Laser Cats.
Yeah.
Lorne Michaels just put his head in his hands.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's how it went.
He's funny too. I like him. I mean, he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's strange how, I mean, those people get into that. I mean, they go to New York. It's a career changing type of show. I mean,
that amount of creativity, just to think of stuff off the cuff.
I do enjoy people who are like fast. Like Theo Vaughn's pretty fast. If you listen to him.
Jimmy Fallon, what's great about him, he would always lose it. No matter how hard he tried to keep it together, he would always not keep it together.
Yeah, he couldn't keep it together. I'll tell you who's the fastest comedian, I think. I mean, one of the fastest. It's got to be Conan O'Brien. I mean, that guy's quick. I mean,
you watched that show where he travels and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
He's just so fast on his feet. Like, he's always... And I don't know if he's like that, like in person. I mean, they say I guess he is, but I mean, he's been around a long time too, and he lost the Tonight Show and all that stuff. I mean, he's interesting.
He's super tall.
Yeah, like
6'5".
Yeah,
something crazy.
He plays guitar too. And I've watched him get better over the years. Like he'll play. It's his show. He can play guitar on there if he wants. Yeah. And I first watched him, I was like, oh God.
I went to his show when I was in LA because
did?
Yeah, nothing else was. I couldn't get tickets for anything else but Conan. It was like the only one that had availability. And I was like, oh man, I wonder who he's gonna have on as a guest. It was like freaking like T-Pain. And I was like, damn it!
Did you go and everything? It was T-Pain was on there?
Yeah.
What was it like being on there?
Fun. I mean, it tells you like like what you would think in a movie. Like the screen flashes like applause. You're like.
Oh really?
Yeah. And like commercial breaks. There's like a warm up guy that comes out in between.
Was it Brody?
Like,
was it Brody? What's his name? Was it it's the guy that used to warm up all the shows. He was just a comedian. He died a little bit ago. Brody Stevens is his name. I don't know why I know that, but okay.
They're like,
the guy that
warm up guys.
The guy that killed himself that used to host a Family Feud, blonde haired guy, back in the day.
Ray something.
But he was
the blonde-haired guy who killed himself was on Family Feud.
He was the host for a long time.
We're honoring him right now.
He played Louis, or
no, he's still alive. Louis.
He suffered from real bad depression, kind of like a Robin Williams.
Well, there's a Family Feud curse. Louis Anderson. Louis Anderson plays Zach Galifianakis' mom in this show called Baskets on FX. Baskets is the funniest show. If you ever get to FX, Sean, it's
What is
it's a
that?
channel. It's a channel.
There's a fog
That's an ongoing joke about FX for Sean. It's not working out. But he plays his mom, and it's so funny. It's Zach Galifianakis is doing his thing. Like he has a brother, that it's a little effeminate, and I don't know, it's funny. I can't really explain the show. The funny part of the show is that Zach Galifianakis, I'm going to say Galifianakis over again, Galifianakis. He is a classically trained clown, and he trained in France. And so he comes home, and he can't get a job because no one's hiring like a classically trained clown. And he starts working for rodeo. As a rodeo clown. It's just
is he one of those guys that comes in thinks he knows it all because he's trained in France?
Well, they're trying to make the guy's like a country guy. It's like Texas or something or whatever it was. I don't know if it's Texas. I don't know what town it is, but
Being prejudiced?
no, I'm just saying it's like Texas and rodeos go together. I was thinking, they have a rodeo that's ongoing. I would think it would be in Texas. And so his real name is like Le Pew or something. That's his clown name. So they end up calling him Baskets. I'm ruining the show for you. At the end, this big portal opens up, and these
Maybe
monsters
no one
are
will watch it.
just as fog comes down. These monsters
Is it
go.
missed?
This big boat sinks. Yeah, it's like,
Kill your children.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I had a little section I wanted to do today. Okay. I watched some. Is that okay?
yeah.
I
Go
thought
for
you
it.
were saying, "Oh, I was going to say something."
I was like, oh, pleasantly surprised.
Okay, so I was looking at Grammy winners and it's kind of timely because it's the time of the Grammys. I didn't watch them or anything, but I was looking at Grammy winners over time, and it's very interesting to see who won Album of the Year.
I bet it was a rock band. Rock and roll. Yeah.
It was. So it's interesting who won. Like this year, Album of the Year went to. Let me get this envelope. Okay. It was Taylor Swift.
Again?
Yeah. That's what my niece told me. But what Taylor Swift did is her record company said that she couldn't play her own songs. So she went back in the studio and re-recorded all her songs and then put it out again. And then she won an Emmy for it. So she just took her songs back, but she beat out Billie Eilish, which blew my mind because I don't care if you're man, woman, child, Billie Eilish is pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Her and her brother made that album in their little tiny room smaller than this. And I mean, for me, it's like, why would Taylor Swift? Like Taylor Swift's 32, not 32, but 30 as well. So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting who won. I actually have the nominees here. If I can just get this up and going.
Didn't Beck win a few years ago?
Beck
and
got
everyone was giving him shit, and I was like, "Did you play every single instrument on your album?"
no.
Like-
Beck lost.
Oh.
Beck lost to. I have it here. Hold on. I had it here yesterday. Keep talking while I find this.
I like Ryan Adams' version of the Taylor Swift album.
Yeah,
That
it was good. Yeah.
I thought that was the best one.
Have y'all been blessed enough to hear the mashup called Stink Swift with the Tool song? And it's like Taylor Swift singing. It is uncanny how they match the times up, the time signatures and all that stuff up on it. It's crazy. Y'all will know this if you hang around me very much. I'm a Tooligan.
He's a big Tool fan.
Yeah, I got a basement with just posters all over.
The new album was crazy, man.
Yeah. Me and him saw that tour right before all the COVID stuff shut everything down.
Oh man.
I'm not going to go back to the 50s because Frank Sinatra was nominated a lot. There's people like Frank Sinatra won in 1960. Judy Garland won in 1962.
Yeah, let's just keep it since Alaska and Hawaii have been a state.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Barbara Streisand won in 1964. Frank Sinatra won again in 1966. I'm looking for the Beatles is what I'm looking for. Okay, so one year it was Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and then it was Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the Beatles, It was Abbey Road. It was The Age of Aquarius, The Fifth Dimension. Crosby, Stills and Nash. Johnny Cash. You might know him as Johnny Cash. At San Quentin, and that's who it was. And Abbey Road got beat out by Blood, Sweat, and Tears in 1970. Isn't that crazy? Like, wouldn't you think Abbey Road would have won?
But
So
Blood, Sweat, and Tears is an American band. All
They
right.
didn't win in '69.
All right. They're from America.
69.
And the Grammys is an American award. All right.
Glenn Campbell won in 1969.
Oh, wow.
And he beat the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour album, which that wasn't the greatest album, but Yellow Submarine was good, and The Walrus and all that stuff. Man on the Hill. Is that Man on the Hill? I don't know. Anyway, so then you've got 1971. You had Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water, Chicago, Close to You by the Carpenters, Deja Vu by Crosby, Stills and Nash, Elton John, and James Taylor, Sweet Baby James, and Simon and Garfunkel won.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a solid album, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got 1972 was Carole King, Tapestry. It's Brett's classic album. I mean, straight up. George Harrison, All Things Must Pass. The Carpenters, self-titled album. Jesus Christ Superstar. And then my favorite, Isaac Hayes' soundtrack for Shaft. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Carole King won for Tapestry. That's kind of...
No, children.
Okay.
Sorry, I think of South Park every time I hear Isaac Hayes.
1973, the concert for Bangladesh won. Beat out Don McLean's American Pie. That's a decent album. I've seen him play. And then 1974, it was Stevie Wonder, Intervisions. It was Charlie Rich, Behind Closed Doors. Bette Midler, The Divine Miss M. Robert Flack, Killing Me Softly with his song. Paul Simon, There Goes Ryman Simon. That was the name of his album. There Goes Ryman Simon. And Stevie Wonder won. Stevie Wonder won. It's hard to say. Anyway.
When was The Outsiders? When did that come out? Because he was part of that soundtrack. I think it was after that.
He won the next year for Fulfilling This Final Finale. That was the name of his. Stevie Wonder had an album called Fulfilling This Final Finale. He beat out John Denver, Back Home Again, Paul McCartney and Wings, Band on the Run, Elton John, Caribou, Joni Mitchell, 76.
Are you going to go through all the years in the 70s?
I know, you're right. I shouldn't
Through
go
the
through all
80s?
of them. Stevie Wonder has won a lot. I'm trying to find ones that you might...
Isaac Hayes, man, he was with Stax Records in Memphis, and I toured that place, and it's just absolutely incredible. Like, they have like the Stax Museum, they have his original pimped out Cadillac, and it's all fur carpet all over the seats and the floors and on the ceiling, and everything's gold, and it's just it rotates around, and they have the Shaft soundtrack playing while you're going around the car.
Really?
This is
Where
awesome.
was that? L.A. or
Memphis.
something? Oh, Memphis?
Yeah. They said, I guess they just used to have a lot of white and blacks playing together there all the time. And it was just, people were like, we didn't even think about skin color. And then Martin Luther King Jr. got assassinated, and Stax went out of business because the blacks and whites couldn't be in there together. There was so much racial tension after that. It's really heartbreaking.
Instant
Yeah.
polarity. At
That's
that point.
interesting.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sad.
They didn't have any more,
The fact that Martin Luther King died.
yeah,
They got
because
shot
he
in
was shot in
resistance.
Memphis at the Lorraine
Wow.
Hotel. Yeah.
Huh. So violence incited division.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were talking about that earlier. What's, where does hate lead you? Hate doesn't lead you to anything good.
Right.
I won't read all these. I was trying to find, in 1978, Fleetwood Mac, Rumors beat out
Yes.
the Star Wars soundtrack.
Deserved.
And the Eagles Hotel California, James Taylor.
Ugh.
I was trying to find some good ones. Let me get to the 80s.
And why are we doing this?
You hung out in Hollywood?
I don't know.
I'm enjoying the
hang out
the
in-
I'm trying
drive.
to incite conversation.
Yeah, a couple
So
times.
girl I worked with, I guess the Hotel California album, that church that's inside of it, I guess became a apartments, and I worked with a girl that had actually rented one of those apartments for a while. She was the one that told me about. I think I was telling you about the story, but that Mickey, I can't think of his.
From Rocky. Get him, Rock.
No. I'll have to look it up real
Get the
quick.
chicken.
But it was like she went out there and she was like, "Oh,
I would say,
this guy
though,
was the first person."
It's
ever
funny
saw.
how
I knew he was high on heroin.
the list that you have there
Yeah.
compared to the list that people have like this past Grammys, like the style of music, like you don't have bands anymore that
That's a good point. I mean,
you know. Now the '90s, to my recollection, is probably the last era that you would see rock bands actually pulling Grammys. And Pearl Jam, you know, of course, resisted theirs.
they were up for Vitology,
Yes,
and they got beat by.
well, they did win one.
They didn't win. I'm talking about album of the year. Is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So I'm sure they won one.
Well, I remember him. Eddie Vedder goes up on stage to accept it, and he's like, "What does this even mean?"
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, he didn't even.
Wasn't it the same one where what's his name climbed the thing in
Yeah,
the
it's
background?
the same one. Yeah,
The Rage Against
same
the
one.
Machine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Mickey Avalon was the name I was going for earlier. By the way,
I'm lost on who was Mickey Avalon.
He had a song that I won't
You know
repeat
Frankie
in
Avalon?
case we have kids that listen, but it was featured in an American Dad episode
Oh,
about the.
Hotel California.
Pretty sure we've all said worse on here.
Yeah.
Well, Vitology got beat by Jagged Little Pill, Alanis Morissette.
which was a great album.
I mean, I'm just saying this because I read this yesterday, and so that's why I know that. The
Yes.
last rock band that won it, guess who it was?
Foo Fighters.
No,
You too.
U2.
Nice.
Yeah, they won that
What year
last
was
time.
that? Now there, man,
St.
love
they're
Patrick's Day
just a
too.
solid
Imagine that.
band.
Time.
It was
Consistency.
Just
it was
wait till I
it
get
was their
my uniform.
classic album, The Joshua Tree.
Yes.
And
Wait a minute, that was the last rock band
yeah,
to win Album of the Year?
album of the year.
Wow, dude.
Album of the year. They were against Whitney Houston. Michael Jackson Bad. They beat Michael Jackson Bad.
Wow.
That's pretty hardcore.
That's hardcore.
How
man.
bad did they beat him?
And they really didn't have a lot of competition. They didn't. I mean, they had Michael Jackson Bad. They beat Michael Jackson. Okay.
And
They beat out Dolly Parton, Linda Ronstadt, and Emmylou Harris at an album called Trio.
That one about the voice of angels or
Yeah,
something
and then
like that.
they beat
My
up
brother
they
would
beat
hate
up
to hear that.
Prince for
Prince and Michael?
yeah.
Wow, dude.
So that's but Joshua Tree is
Oh, it's
Straight
still
up.
great. If
That's
you
a-
played it today, you could.
We've talked
Sounds
about this
just
album
fresh.
on the way back from Cincinnati before. How that was an iconic album. I mean, that's a once in a decade
No
kind of album
question,
for a
man.
band. You know,
No question.
Do you remember when U2 got uploaded into everyone's
they've done it twice.
iPhone.
They've done it twice.
what? And then every time I
was a
plug in my
fallout.
phone, their song is playing. I'm like, stop! like I'm pissed. Like
Yeah, it was
I hate
definitely-
you now. Like
Yeah, they
I
did it
didn't
twice.
ask for this.
They did it twice, and it messed me up.
Like,
I mean, at
like
least
the-
it's not like
What's the song about?
what would be the
Wolfpack or
worst
something like
band to have it uploaded to your phone? What would be
That's
the
a good
worst?
one.
Like it like you couldn't
Toby
help it.
Keith.
Fog hat.
No, that's not the worst band. I mean, Foghat's not what I want on there, but it's not the worst band. It'd be something awful like
ABBA.
that. Wouldn't be that.
boy.
That'd be kind of annoying, but
that? Ray Stevens.
okay. I would say it would be.
That's a shout out to my brother. When he hears this, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Dude hijacks my phone and takes over Spotify and just
Oh, so you share an
nukes
account?
it with whack stuff. No, I mean he just. Oh,
You take
I'll be
your
like,
actual
hey,
phone
Hey, play this. You know, as we're coming back from somewhere.
and wax your algorithm off.
oh,
I mean, did I
gosh.
say that?
Wax your what off?
Nothing. I said wax your algorithm off.
But he
Put
he
your
goes from
algorithm out of whack. Is what I meant to say.
Does he whack your algorithm in?
Yeah.
Oh God! But my point of bringing the
This
Grammys
message
up
Brought to you by Bubba Walters.
was to, I don't know, just to talk about who beat who. I just thought it was
Well,
interesting.
I do find it interesting the quality of music that you were listening back in the 70s, 60s,
Mhm.
and the quality of music today. I mean, and listen, it's not because I'm just older now. I don't appreciate, current contemporary music, but because I enjoy music back in the 60s and 50s and things. So I think all of us have a pretty open mind, but there's quite a big difference in the quality
1984, Thriller beat out Police Synchronicity. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I don't think anything had a chance against
No, if you got beat out by that, yeah.
1984.
I mean, Synchronicity is a great album, but
I think there's plenty of good music out there. It's just that it's not popular anymore. It's not what
Yeah, exactly.
people are looking for.
Yeah, well,
Right.
yeah, the demo
Yeah.
caters to 13-year-old girls.
The
So
whole
it's like-
radio
Right.
pop thing, absolutely.
Like pop indie music is now a thing. Yeah.
but if you go to Rock on Range, they don't play Taylor Swift. I'm just saying.
Right.
you're going to like this one. In 897, Celine Dion.
Celine's Dion.
Celine's Dion.
Wax Dion.
It's like
a
Dion
good parody
Sanders'
band,
book. It's called Celine's Dion. Um,
My Heart's Wheels goes on.
falling. Celine Dion, Falling Into You, beat Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy, and Infinite Sadness. Beck Odelay, The Fugees, The Score,
Wow, dude, that was a great album. I love
and beat out Babyface too. But like
Whip a
Celine
pill.
Dion beat out those. That tells you the story. That Celine Dion beat out Smashing Pumpkins, Beck, The Fugees. You know,
Was that?
I
the-
was just. I'm sorry.
Oh, was that the one piggyback to the soundtrack? I mean, the Titanic soundtrack, or is that just her solo release? Or
I'm not really into that. Into Celine Dion, I really don't know her.
I'm glad to hear this.
discography,
I mean,
but
street cred to you for saying that. You know.
I don't.
I was talking to
Hey,
it.
let me get the CD over here. Let me tell you. Let me grab the CD over here. Then they tell
Here,
you.
I got her on speed dial.
Look at my album
let me ask her.
collection. I got it on vinyl. Hold on a second. Let me grab it for you.
Oh yeah, get the vinyl out.
Is that Celine Dion's? Was that the first release of that album, or was that the remaster?
Let me get my signed copy out. It's hid behind her collarbone.
Oh man.
Bob Dylan, "Time Out of Mind." I don't remember that album, but beat out Babyface, Paul McCartney, and then Radiohead's "OK Computer." Computer, one of the best albums of all time, in my opinion. I guess Bob Dylan. I guess I understand, but we're talking about breakthrough album. "OK Computer," man. Like Radiohead, like that's my. I don't know. It's kind of strange.
I was talking to a recording artist yesterday at the gym. He's a Christian recording artist, and he's done some type of, things that he could be proud of in his career. But we was talking about how really it's all about being able to pay DJs and certain people that's able to get your music out. Now maybe not so much now, but he was talking about how the only way to get your music out there is you go to the DJ or you go to the radio station, like, here, I want to give you some money, you play my music as much as possible, and they'll do it. And it becomes such a competition to where it's not even about how good you are anymore, as opposed to if you can pay the right amount of money for your music to be played.
That's called payola. That's what that's called. And they actually outlawed that a long time ago.
But it still happens.
Yeah, I mean, you can't stop. It's like jaywalking. Can you stop that?
And to me, that's the only reason why we see these recording artists like that are winning.
I mean, there's a
Grammys
certain
and
amount.
things.
There's a certain amount of prowess, though, that you had to be. Maybe now, maybe we're just older, but I mean, there's also, it's not voted on by people. The Grammys is voted on by a board of people, and it's not voted on. It's not really the popular opinion.
So those people could be
coerced.
yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Since it is a board,
Well, it's to me, it's kind of like the All-Star Game baseball. It's always a popularity contest. So the people that vote on this are just phoning it in based on names they recognize. Just like, I mean, how many more times would Barry Larkin have been the starter in the NL All-Star Game if Ozzie Smith wasn't in of his career? I know that might not be a great analogy for everybody, but you probably you follow what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, to me, I think these people in is it the Academy? That's movies, right? Or anyway, those powers that be.
Grammys has a board of people that vote on it.
So it's not like
no,
not like the
like if you got a People's Choice Award, that's actually voted on.
Yeah. All right.
It's not seen as anything.
That actually makes me feel a little
If you get a Nickelodeon award, it's voted on by kids.
Yeah. The prestigious Nickelodeon.
If you get that, it's voted on by people.
the VMAs.
The Video Music Awards. But that's kind of almost obsolete, the Video Music Awards. Is that what's called, Video Music Awards?
You would think that would be bigger than ever these days, but
You would.
Why can't we watch a music video now? Like, what's the problem with
So everybody
that?
goes to YouTube and puts a genre on and lets it roll.
I
Nobody
remember when
goes to
MTV
TV
used
anymore.
to be that, and they switched it to just reality shows.
Yeah.
It started with the Real World, and then it kind of just...
Yeah, you had to go to M2 or MTV2 to watch videos at that point, and then everybody around here quit carrying it because of it wasn't.
Maybe
certain
it's
content.
well.
Democratic
Think about it. A
enough or
music
something,
video is only what 2-3 minutes long.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to kind of reason out why they don't use it, why they're not popular anymore. I mean, why they don't use the reason they're not. It's not they're not popular. It's that they don't put them on TV. So they're not long enough to put commercials to. But if you just put music video commercial, you'd almost have more room for commercials.
Yeah, well, I mean, a commercial breaks average every 10 minutes, so you play 3 songs.
And then you would have,
And then
a person talking about the video. Hey, this is the new video, like,
Yeah.
from so-and-so. I really like this video because it's blah, 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 blah. Watch it, But, you don't have that.
What was that
type of-
Carson Daly show that was on like after school or after like 3:30? What was that? They had the countdown. That was a good idea. I mean, it's about getting the music out there, and they had a big punk revival there. I mean, pop punk,
182.
pop punk,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not real punk, but
Well, it's its own thing.
I love Blink-182.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
their self-titled album is
I
amazing.
like as far as the punk scene went though, but outside of Blink, but I like some of the
They're
more
pop punk.
southerly western punk, like Weezer,
yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
The
kind of
Toadies. I think we've talked about the Toadies
Yeah.
before.
Dude,
Stuff like that.
my ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend won in a raffle a Blink-182 Honda Civic. And it was
What is it?
and it
What
was
is it, Blink-182 on the
no, it
Civic?
was blue and it had the pink bunnies on the side of it. Like I don't know.
What is a? So it's just it's a Blink-182 themed Honda
Yeah, it was a
Civic.
Blink-182 themed Honda Civic that he won in a raffle.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why would
that's
Blink
cool.
do that to somebody? Maybe that's why
I
they
mean, they're not driving around in a Honda
got in a
Civic.
plane crash. Just karma. I don't know.
They did
Too soon.
They did get in a plane crash. He's alive. It's fine.
Yeah, Travis.
He's fine.
Travis.
He's dating
is
the
a madman,
Kardashian.
too.
Is he? Really?
Kourtney Kardashian.
I thought he was married.
He might have been, but he's dating Kourtney now.
He's dating Kourtney Kardashian.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Supposedly they were friends for a long time, and whatever.
Did you see that thing?
It's kind of sad that I know
that
this.
Travis
I feel
Barker
kinda
did
bad
with
about it.
Post Malone. It was Nirvana covers.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
It was amazing.
Off the-
I mean,
It
Post
was
Malone.
awesome. He was in a Kurt Cobain kind of. I mean, Kurt Cobain kind of wore like a dress.
He killed
like
it.
a muumuu.
He's a maniac on the drums, though. To play as hard as he does
Travis
for an
Barker,
entire
yeah.
set. Yeah.
Yeah, Travis Barker. Well, he's also rail thin.
Yeah,
A
ripped.
lot of stamina.
Yeah, he's got.
He like
He's like he
yeah,
quit.
let's do that.
He's like self-made. Like he quit high school, and he said he moved to California basically, and like at 15 or 16 years old, something crazy. And it's crazy to think that he made him to what he is. And so did I just lost his name from Foo Fighters, the lead singer for Foo Fighters.
Dave Grohl.
Thank you. Same thing. He quit high school.
He was also in Nirvana. That helped a little bit.
But that was in the 80s
But notice
too.
how good they
You
are
could
at
do
their
that
craft.
in the 80s. You could quit
Notice
high
how
school
good
and not
those
worry
guys
about
are
it.
at drums. Like those guys are badass at drums. Like and that's all they've done is music since they were
yeah.
10. I mean,
It's just in their programming.
they just did it.
Yeah.
They just played and played and played and played. Like I know the reason I didn't continue his music because practicality. I had my plan B took over, and maybe some alcohol didn't help. But I tried hard for music, and it just. I mean, where I live, living in LA and New York makes a difference.
Not really, man, because then you got that much more competition because that's where everybody
I know,
goes
but no
to.
one's. I'm talking. Well, maybe not now, but then, if you're in LA, you're going to get
He was in Seattle though, and there was a huge scene
Seattle.
Yeah.
There's no scene here, is what I'm saying.
Right.
You have to have a place with the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like
We have the outlaw country scene. I think
We do have
I
that.
heard people in outlaw country were starting to move to this area. I heard some people tell me that.
it's the kind of scene. I guess you're right. It's
Yeah.
like. I mean, I'm not. Maybe I just didn't dedicate myself. What I'm saying is that the
No, that's
opportunities.
definitely not it. You definitely did.
The opportunities are in a bigger city are more, and in that, and because there's more places to play, there's more people to come and see your shows.
Yeah.
Like, if you play in a hardcore band in Ashland, Kentucky. I mean, where are you going to play?
And the only saving grace is you're within enough distance to do a power weekend in Nashville or Myrtle Beach.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
kinda
yeah.
Get your name out there if you're going to hit like.
Yeah,
some of
I
the
mean,
guys
I would have
Pike
had to.
County did, but-
I mean, we would have had to do a lot more touring.
There's a great Eagles documentary came out maybe 4 years ago. But one thing that comes to mind right now is not Don Hall. That's the car dealership.
Daryl.
This
The lead singer for the
yes.
Eagles, man.
Oh, okay. Glenn Fry.
Glenn Fry and the
Don
drummer
Henley.
Don Henley.
Okay.
And Don Henley was saying how
Boys of Summer.
when they were in LA at this time, before they were famous, you had Jackson Brown, I think it was Emmylou Harris, the Eagles, Graham Parsons, a few more living within. Nobody was famous yet. They were all just come from different places of the United States. They all just so happened to meet there, and they were all living in the same apartment type of complex.
Somebody was at the whiskey every weekend.
And yeah, right. And he was saying how like Glenn Fry or Don Henley was saying, I forgot which one it was saying how he would wake up at like he would hear about 5 o'clock in the morning, Jackson Brown upstairs starting his tea, and then immediately going to the piano and playing all day long. Well, anyway, the Eagles finally break through and they make it. And he's getting interviewed, and this was back in the 70s at this time. They kind
Right.
of go back in time, and he's getting interviewed, and the interviewer's like, man, how did you all make it? You know, he goes, I have no idea. He goes, there are so many better bands than what we are. He goes, we came from, and he starts listing all the people he played around, and these other bands that you would never heard of. He's like, these people, he's like, I have no idea why we made it, and these other people didn't. So there might not be a real answer. Like he was even confused by that.
There's
like,
no
why
definitive
me
well,
and not these other people.
The one difference of people between people that how many times do you see somebody do something on YouTube or anywhere, and you're like, I do it a lot. Maybe I'm just overconfident, but I'm like, I could do that. Mm-hmm. The only difference between me and them is they're doing it and I'm not.
Basically, any reality show on Travel Channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody
They're doing it.
could do that. You know, just saying.
Like,
or TLC.
They're doing a podcast. I am not. They are in a. They have a band and they are playing, and I am not. It's either you're doing it, you're putting it out there, you're putting the effort in, or you're not.
Well, then it goes back to what we were saying last week too. That what do you want out of it? Is it to be exposed to get the Grammy to
Right.
do this, or is it to tour and just to maybe never be known on a grants, but you are making a living?
You do it for the love of it.
Yeah.
You got to.
Like from my salary now, from what I make as a teacher, I would quit my job and tour. I mean, if I had, if I could make at least $40,000 a year. I mean, it doesn't take much, but of course I don't have kids and I don't have certain things that I know kind of bring.
Yeah, if you told me I could make $45,000 a year, well, maybe let's go $50,000 a year. Let's say that.
It's like I heard
I would do it.
Craig Ferguson talking about like Keith Richards one. I think I got it right, but he was talking about Keith Richards is one of those guys that had the love. He would play in a back alley somewhere just because that's what he is. He just plays, and he was lucky enough to be one of them that made it.
Yeah, you have to just.
Right place,
when it comes
right
to
time.
instruments, you just got to play. And if you're in a band, you just got to. Like when I was in a band that was successful at all, we played every day. Like every night.
Yeah.
Load up my stuff, go down to the skate shop down there next to Adam and Eve, and practice every night. Every night we played. And I did that. I didn't go out on dates. I didn't do anything else. And because I loved it. Huh?
Right.
That's why you didn't go on dates, because you were next to Adam and Eve. You really didn't.
And I was just like, just check the Adam and Eve models.
The mannequins.
Yeah, mannequins. Sorry, not models.
Made extra money testing fleshlights on weekends.
Yeah. We did have the guy come over once, and he goes, "Man,
This one's got 1,400 lumens and 2 speeds.
That guy would come over to the skate shop, and he would be like,
speeds.
"Man, I'll trade you that amp for a box of used dildos over here." He would the guy would come over every night and make that joke like you said that yesterday.
Pack of batteries and we'll talk.
Yeah, throw
call
in
my
the
agent.
batteries and we'll talk.
We were talking about alcohol. This guy I know, he's like an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
He worked in just a booze store, and this really bad guy used to come in every single morning and buy 2 of those little bottles of vodka, and he'd be like, making penne vodka tonight. I was like, no, you're not.
If you're buying the little, from personal experience, if you're buying the little bottles, you're just trying to get to 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like you're like that's.
Like there's stories that guys that do what I did has since been gone from the crew that I work with now, but it was like they thought that if they just drank the little shooters of Fireball, and
Seems like the worst thing.
Oof.
and then packed Big Red with them all the time, nobody would catch on to it. But then you get into a truck and a
Yeah, the
and a
chewing
chest
gum,
set
the
full of-
big red chewing gum.
Yeah, like if they thought they smelled like cinnamon instead of alcohol.
I've been chewing gum.
But then somebody opens the truck door and a chest set worth of shooter bottles falls out.
Yeah,
then it's
yeah.
Kind of, the gig's up.
Saw these on the side of the road. I was cleaning them up.
I'm environmentalist.
I was
yeah.
really making a chest set.
Wearing orange vest. I'm just cleaning up.
Bourbon
You
versus
have-
clears,
You
come
have
on now.
a bag ready just in case something happens. And your vest. See, I swear.
Dude, I did that I skipped school in high school, and a teacher found out and was on the freaking prowl. And me and my friend showed up. We had orange vests, and we found out about it. Somebody texted us and was like, "You better get back to school." Like Joe, the teacher's
Joe
name,
teacher,
was
Joe
is on the
teacher.
prowl. Was on the prowl for you. And so we had orange vests that you hunt with in the car. And so we come back and we go to a dumpster and get 2 bags of trash and an orange vest. And we show up and he's like, "Where have you been?" I was
No
like, "We were
way.
out here picking up trash." And he like puts us on the wall. I know that is a lie. That is not a lie. And we were like sticking to the strip. And then my friend gave it away. Like he was starting to buy it. I was like, "What's your problem, man?" Like, dude,
That's called the prisoner's dilemma.
yeah,
That's an actual thing there.
Yeah.
That's funny.
To do the right thing.
Well, I don't know exactly how it goes.
I have
Yeah,
just read
It's just
about
where
this.
you-
Yeah, I've just
where,
read about this.
You get caught. You and your partner get caught,
Yeah.
and then you separate. And
There's four alternatives. I think
4
it is.
alternatives: either you can rat on your friend and you go scot free.
Right.
You don't rat on your friend, but then he rats on you. You serve the whole time, and he gets scot free. Or you both rat on each other, and both of you serve like 1 term. And there's one other one, like he said, and I wish I knew
The
that
best
one.
situation is you both don't rat.
Rat, yes,
And that's
you
what
keep
criminals
quiet.
need to know if you're listening to this. Always remember, do not
Pro tip,
make
pro criminal
only do
tip.
crime with someone else who will not rat on you, and make sure you remember that.
Honor among thieves.
The prisoner's dilemma, you will beat it every time.
But I don't know how easy that would be if it's a serious thing. If it's something like he was doing, I think that would be. But if it's a serious crime that was committed, there could be a lot of pressure involved, and you don't know what your buddy's doing. He could be ratting all over.
Yeah.
That's
That's why you got to run with criminals you know.
But if they're
Or by
criminals,
yourself.
You need to have a pre-conversation. If we get caught selling this heroin,
you heard the prisoner's dilemma,
You
right?
heard that?
Let's study this.
here are the possibilities of me and you going into this if we get caught, and you get to go through it, and then you have like a chart you show it to the other guy.
Whiteboard wall.
Your whiteboard.
We robbed this liquor store.
If you're already planning for when you get caught, you're already in trouble as a criminal.
I see 3 people trapped in a burning car.
That's I just read about that. That's interesting, huh? I mean, so you didn't get away with it.
No, I got.
But you would have if you would have kept.
I
quiet.
was supposed to get Saturday
If it weren't
school
for those meddling kids.
and then we were. I was like, I work at a pizza shop on weekends. I can't go to Saturday school. And he's like, okay, take 2 detentions, and then I only showed up to 1, and nothing else was ever said. So I don't know.
What pizza shop did you work at?
East of Chicago,
It was called East of Chicago.
Was it in? Where was it at?
Wheelersburg.
I guess technically that's
East
an
of-
accurate
You know what?
name,
It's
Well, we were 18. I remember being 18 years old working this pizza shop, and we were like, why did they limit themselves to this name? Because technically they could never expand their business more than the East of Chicago.
should be
Like,
east of Portsmouth. Would
yeah,
be more accurate.
East of Portsmouth.
but Chicago pizza, I get it. But it's funny,
Dude, it was an interesting job.
East
It
of
had-
Chicago
they had
in
alliteration.
Wheelersburg.
Yeah, Portsmouth Pizza Parlor or something like that. Yeah.
I know, but
Fred's Pizza's pretty good in Wheelersburg, right? Is it Fred's? Is that what it's called?
It's all right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's not like
They have
East
sardines.
Chicago.
It's more south of
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah,
They have what?
sardines on there.
Do they?
Yeah, you can get.
Fred-
I like sardines
Fred's
on pizza.
Fred's is amazing. There was a scandal in Fred's. I'm not going to go over it on the podcast, but there was I don't know if
Ex-wife.
yeah, there was
Just,
like a
what?
there was
Just do it.
there was a scandal. It was in the paper, right?
Yeah.
So it's public knowledge.
All right.
And evidently,
So, yeah,
evidently, Fred or Fred's son or whoever owns it, Ted, whatever his name is, he, you know,
Fred, Ted, and Ed.
Ted, Fred, and Ed are all the brothers.
Uncle Ned.
Now this is all misinformation. Now that I'm giving you, and I guess he cheated on his wife, and then Mrs.
On a
Fred.
test?
Yeah, he had all the answers his friend gave him. No, he cheated on his wife. It was infidel. There was some infidelity on Fred's part. He dipped his he dipped his breadstick in the wrong sauce.
More than one
and,
kind of pie you could get there, apparently.
Yeah. And there's a pie joke there too.
We are digressing.
And so he.
Fast hurry.
Do they have breadsticks there? And they have to. Anyway,
They got cheese sticks or something.
they do. They got dips. So he's dipped. He went over to Domino's and dipped a stick in the Domino's, whatever. Anyway, and so his wife got pissed off.
No.
She found out. That's the opposite order of how that happened. But so then she ended up putting on the sign what Fred's a cheater. So I'm like, do you remember that story?
She tried to divorce him, and then she was taking all the business, and the judge ruled they had to sell the business and split it, and they could go their own way. So it had to close down for a while. She eventually gave, but he put up on the sign. I think it was
I thought she put something on the sign.
No, it was him. It was my bitch. It said my bitch ex-wife. Thanks for ruining the business. 50 years of business or something like that. It was on the big electronic sign in Wheelersburg.
I thought it was the wife that did it. I thought it was the wife that did it. That was in the paper.
Yeah.
How embarrassing.
Yeah.
Of course, if you put my bitch ex-wife on a sign in Wheelersburg, it's going to get in the paper. You know what I mean? I feel like Sean's got something good on this.
Speaking of criminal activity, one of the really bad things.
You dip it in your breadstick in the wrong sauce.
That reminds me.
That reminds me.
No, just me and some buddies of mine were up near Columbus. I think I was in the neighborhood of 16 years old, I would say. And we're driving through the country, and there was this place that sold cheeses, like Colby or something, like a deli would.
They sold cheeses.
But they had,
Did you say Jesus?
Grandpa's cheese
or
bar?
cheeses?
So they were-
formaggio,
Got you.
So it was a cheese shop.
Was it Grandpa's cheese bar?
No, it wasn't that fancy. It's like
Okay.
So you're
brown brick house.
16.
Okay,
You're going up
okay,
through
okay.
Columbus,
They got-
and there's a cheese.
They got one of these, pizza shop marquee signs with the flashing bulbs
Okay.
outside. So
Fancy.
yeah, it had the letter said, Longhorn Colby and marble cheese for so much a pound.
Okay.
And I can't even remember what it was, but it sounded pretty dirty. The time
Yeah.
we got done. That's all.
Longhorn cheese.
Yeah.
Long.
I felt really bad about that. Now I feel better.
Did you change it?
Back?
No, you. So the story is that you changed the
Yeah,
sign.
it got changed to something.
What did you say?
Oh, no.
That's the punchline of this story. You have to
Yeah.
tell us what it is. Longhorn milk.
Yeah, long and horny male cheeser or something like that.
No one's going to come back and
99 cents.
This,
for-
I
You were
think
the one.
the statute of limitations is over with your cheese. Your
I think
cheese
it'd be
place.
civil at best. I'm probably looking at $50 court cost. So it's like,
Did you think they ruined their cheese business after that or something?
Nobody ever came back, man.
Well, they had a listen. Their business plan was to sell cheese only, right?
yeah.
So
So they got a new market,
Where was it at again?
horny cheese.
outside of Columbus somewhere.
Horny
The business
cheese.
plan the business model was a little aged.
Oh, God.
Waka.
Business plan. Was that on the way to Columbus or in Columbus?
It was somewhere kind of towards the outskirts.
Where there's that long road of nothing.
Where the Longhorns
yeah,
are.
yeah,
Where the
well,
Longhorns are, Longhorny cheeses are.
for example, if you're going out to London from Columbus or Lancaster from Columbus or
Okay.
something like that, one of those.
What's that Mormon? When you go into Columbus, there's that Mormon. Is that a Mormon? Amish. Those are two different things. Sorry.
Amish, yeah.
Amish. The Amish. There's an Amish shop there, and they sell
Close to the outlets, right?
they sell
Jeffersonville or
cheeses,
something
but
like
they're
that.
like fudge. So they're like
Yeah, goat milk fudge. Yeah.
goat milk fudge. So it's like peanut butter cheese. Yeah, it exists, Sean. And chocolate
Butter
cheese.
cheese.
Like it's cheese, but it's infused with chocolate. I've been to a place that they
That
had.
could be your wrestling name, Justin. Peanut butter formaggio.
There we go. Fabio, peanut butter Fabio.
Peanut Fabio.
He was in B-Dubs in Ironton. I saw it on the news.
Fabio
one time, by
was?
the way. I don't know why.
Fabio
It's like,
was?
that's local news. Is like
For
Fabio
real?
was in B-Dubs in Ironton. Yeah,
When?
it was a couple years ago. You don't remember that?
It was in the paper?
Yeah.
I need to start reading the paper. It's just,
That's where the real news is, man.
there's this one time when I was a preacher. The pastor, he always wanted me to be involved in Nazarene stuff, and I just wasn't really into Nazarene stuff, I guess. I don't know. But he made me go to this couples retreat in Amish country. Needless to say, I mean, I didn't have a wife.
Not much of a
Yeah.
website for it, was
So
it?
I had to
an Amish
go. I had to go to this
Yeah. Your husband-
Nazarene
The couple was an Amish girl.
couples retreat by myself with the pastor and his wife. I had to sit through these things, and then they told me some things I wasn't allowed to come to because I guess it was talking about sexual relations and I don't know something. So I just like sat in the room. And I might have had some beers, like, because I was just like, "What am I going to
Amish
do?"
made beers.
And I probably shouldn't say that because I was a preacher at the time,
Ye old
Mead.
hops.
you know. But it was just like so weird that they made me. And then we
Have
went
you a beer
shop for
once?
chocolate cheeses and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was awful. I probably shouldn't have said that, but that's
So I got so many Letterkenny references going
Yeah.
through my mind right now. But I haven't seen you in the age of a dog once.
But I want to appreciate everybody coming tonight. It's
Don't make me just because I have to.
it's the end of the podcast. Remember, love or no love.
Welcome. Friends, colleagues, strangers, to invisible wires.
Thank you for listening to the Invisible Wires podcast. You can email us at invisiblewirespodcast@gmail.com. You can interface with us on Instagram at invisible_wires. We appreciate you listening, and we hope you have a great week.